like Evo, you know, they'll get invited to Evo and like all this stuff, like
Yeah,
because they
it realistically
leaked.
just doesn't matter anymore.
No, it should just literally just be like, let me play it on stream. If people want to watch it, they
Yeah,
can. Let me make YouTube
yeah,
videos. If
exactly.
people want to watch it, they can. I think that they don't want to spoil the storyline since it's all story and like
Which
live
this
is.
yeah, this one I fully respect.
Yeah,
Like,
for
I
sure.
don't want to spoil it for people. I think it's really dope.
Yeah, like I felt like really it felt really awkward. Like how do I
Yeah,
tell people what this stuff is without telling them what the stuff is?
yeah, exactly.
So I said like there's, you know, it's a really big update.
Yeah.
Like I
I
don't
think yeah,
know.
there's bits that you can talk about it that don't necessarily go into the actual like yeah, the actual like story itself. You just talk
Yeah.
about the surrounding bits.
Yeah. Tell me there's tons of like little data pads that you can like follow through the story, which is really nice.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
And it
Yep.
seems like we have to make a choice, which is interesting. A more morally bad versus a morally good, and it's like which one do you do? Um but
Is there a story blade?
if they could sell
Amazing.
if they could sell story on the store at this point, I think they would.
Yeah, it's called
It's
a book.
it's not data pads. You click something and it plays voice
Yeah, yeah.
lines. It's really good. Really good.
Yeah, there's a
But
lot of really cool stuff with it.
the problem is you literally need to turn all of the game sound down to hear it. That's the only way I can hear it. The game because the game sounds and location are so loud. I'll be right
Yeah,
back. I'm
yeah.
gonna grab a drink.
Yeah, all good.
The YouTube should be good to go.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I've already
Yay.
pushed it.
Nice.
Hello, YouTube. The other thing, chat, is Drake Day happens like pretty much as soon as the podcast ends. Normally, when the podcast ends. So if there is any like weird releases, which my prediction is that there's like slightly less than 50% chance that something will happen, we'll be able to check that out as well. I would be down for CIG to release some type of book. Oh, audio drama. Give me an audio drama. Give me like a. Oh, what was the? I can't remember their names. The people in the MSR commercial, that like 15-minute long one. Give me like an audio book of them just doing stuff. I do play Commander. Which one is Blim Comedic Genius? Got me out here looking up magic cards. Does combat damage to a player? The player gains control of target permanent you control. Then each player loses life and discards cards equal to the number of permanents they control but don't own. I like it. That seems good. Seems good with the new Deadpool card. Why do people think there's even a fraction of a chance for an Ironclad? Have you met a Star Citizen backer? And I say that as a Star Citizen backer. The Jax McCleary Adventures. You're onto something, Eddie. You're definitely onto something. People were saying that about the Idris release. Yeah, I was saying that. I'm on the record on the podcast multiple times saying there's no shot they release the Idris. My thing is that Xylo commented on like a Reddit post, but he specifically said there is no concept ships coming out at Drake Day or the finale day, which is just a very specific way to say something. It probably means nothing, but there's a world where there's some weird straight to flyable. It is on YouTube. Oh, no, it's not on Rumble. What the fuck? We're on Twitch and YouTube. It's Sunday. Do they release ship ads on weekends? I can't remember. For IA and Invictus, they do. Yes, because it's outside the regular timing. So yeah, like I said, I'm like slightly less than 50% chance I reckon that something will happen. But it's already been an absolutely insane Invictus. Gonna be pre-Idris Croncy. There'll be nothing on Drake Day. Completely empty Drake Day. They're actually not selling any of the Drake ships. They're just trolling you guys. It's gonna be more Idrises.
Probably should, but okay. All right, I need to do one quick thing. I need to message.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go full screen just for a second because I need to actually
Yep.
message in Discord, and people see that. I just need to let my editor know that I sent everything. To him for weekend review, and I forgot to.
Yep. Drake Day is in 2 hours. That's what I'm saying. If there is any weird, crazy surprise, we'll have a look at it likely at the end of the pod. Which, by the way, we have plenty of space in the waiting room if you do want to call in.
Okay. I am ready. Oh, you can see Discord.
That is not me.
Yep. Yeah, it's just me telling him he has everything. Let's just go. I don't know. Screw it. This is just a disaster right now. Let's go there. Go there. Go there. And now we should be good.
Lovely. Let me get my notepad ready, but other than that, I'm all ready.
Me
your
too.
intro today.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's. 25 seconds. $15. 10. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Answer the Call, a Star Citizen podcast where we meet myself, Croncy, two Star Citizen creators, been here for a long time, talk about what a certain topic, what's been going on this week, and then open up the calls to you to allow you guys to sound off on whatever subjects we're talking today. The subjects are a little bit tough this week for callers, so we're definitely not as full as we were yesterday or last week. If you guys do want to call in, the calls are pretty much open at this point. All that's really happened this week is 4.2 went to Evocati. That's under NDA.
Yep.
Nobody can see it, although it looks cool. And unless you really want to see it, then obviously you can find it. But the other stuff was just ship sale stuff and the status quo of what happened last week. So what'd you get into? What's going on? Like, we usually check in and see just like, how was your week kind of thing. So how was your week?
So yeah, like I said, before the pod, lots and lots of rain here in Sydney in the last couple of days. I think it was a month's worth of rain in 48 hours. Yeah. And it was just constant. So we found a lot more leaks in our roofs, which is great. Love that. So we're going to have to fix our roof. And in addition to that, like our power went out for or at least half of our power went out for like a day and a half. Luckily fixed yesterday. So we're all good for the pod today, which is great. And other than that, yeah, I've been playing some Evo. We had race number 6 of the System 7 for me earlier this morning.
Yeah, I was watching.
Which went rough and then okay afterwards. Yeah, that's sort of where I'm at. How about yourself?
Not too bad. I've been mostly just like playing Evo, still trying to like megaphone the CIG are still selling flight blades and have made no change. But also like EVE Online, apparently we're all going to war. Everyone is going to war.
Ooh,
so things might get spicy. I don't know how all this works. I don't know what to expect, but I'm kind of excited for that. Yeah.
Let me know if you need a cheeky stealth bomber. I'll reinstall Eve. It's been
Probably.
what I've been and you've been really bad for me, Mike. I've been off it for a year and a half. I spent like the first 7 months in this podcast being like, Mike, you gotta try Eve, you gotta try Eve.
Yeah.
I got out of it, and now you're gonna draw me back in.
Yeah. I mean, I did stealth bombing not too long ago.
Yeah,
It's
yep.
pretty
It's good
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's that's basically what I got going on is like, oh, we did mining. We did a mining operation yesterday. So
Nice.
we're still 30K Inc. is still like busy as ever. People are orgs keep coming to us for
Mhm.
Polaris parts, basically, right? They want us to
Yep.
go mine the Quantanium because they don't want to do it themselves. And we went to Pyro and we did the whole like bags filled on an Idris thing and
Nice.
bunch of people out there mining, and it was super fun. I was cargo hauling in a hull A, so a hull A can
Yep.
carry a full mole or two prospectors, and
Mhm.
just went back and forth, and it was super fun. And
Sweet.
I don't know how much. I think we got like 300 or 400 SCU of Quantanium yesterday,
Yeah, wow.
which is like just for Quantanium is pretty good. I don't
Mhm.
know how much we would have got like overall ore if we just mined whatever good shit we found. Probably a ton.
Yep.
And yeah, it was just super efficient. We were finding our inefficiencies and just
Mhm.
had a lot of fun. So whoever's buying from us, they're going to be really happy. And somebody else apparently came to us and offered like what I think like 30% more they want to pay us. Like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so we're pretty happy with that. We're going to be
That's
busy.
pretty dope.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that I've loved seeing in the past like week and a bit with people with the address is how many people are doing like big mining operations.
Hmm.
Because now you do kind of have like a like it is the closest thing to a mobile base we've got for that sort of stuff now.
Yeah.
And it works, right? Because you can fit what 2 to 3 prospectors in an Idris's hangar, I think.
A lot more than that.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you can do a lot of cool stuff. So I'm excited for it. We're gonna do it ourselves soon. Um,
It's worth.
especially if, and this is the thing that I'm hoping happens, which I mentioned last podcast. If the Idris becomes a Wakala reward,
I'm
we're going to
going
be
for
doing
it.
this
Yeah.
because I need that.
Yeah.
I don't I
I want
like
to earn
I
it
like
in
the
game.
Polaris. It's cool. Yeah, earning an Idris in game would be dope as hell.
Yeah.
So,
Because for mining, it's the ship. It like the Kraken or whatever coming in the future, that's the ship.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
for right now, what's available, the Idris is the ship if you're doing big
Yeah.
operations like that. Like, dude, the whole thing was miners need to stay mining, right? So as they found a Quantanium rock and when it was completely broken or nearing completely broken, they would call me or any
Yep.
other logistics guy. We would go to them. They would scoop it up to have the timer down to the longest timer possible, so we had time to get and drop off. And we would just drop the bags off in our own inventory, leave it there. This is not the most efficient way to do it, but this is how we were doing it given the situation we were in. And then
Yep.
we would come back empty. So now we need to have it, but we would have empty bags on our ship. We would take their full bags and put empty bags on them. They would keep going,
Yeah,
right?
you got to do your
Yeah.
swap logistics. And whatnot.
Exactly. So after I left, since I wasn't doing the refining, after I left the refinery, I didn't have any bags. So you go in the back of the Idris, right? And
Yep.
Carly, our Idris pilot, has bags lined on one side. So like empty
Yeah.
bags on one side, full bags on the other, if we were ever to use her for
Yep.
full bags. Argo atlases in each section, and you would fly through, and there
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be one person on one side, one person on another, bags, and it was like
Yeah, just
it was like an F1
like
pit stop,
F1 stop. Yeah.
and you would just go, so you would fly through the ship and be out.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
so sick, dude. It
That
was
is dope. That
so
is super
sick. And then like you land, like, oh, I need to land and like, go in the med bay, and like it
Yeah, yeah.
feels like you're on a proper station. It's so cool. So like,
Yep.
Anybody who's like flying Idrises now and buying them, like, I get it. I totally understand, right? Like, we're not like, to kind of get on the flight blade thing. It's not about that you're buying something. It's that
Yeah.
that opportunity is available to you instantly, and you don't
Yeah.
have the like insane joy of earning that experience with all of your friends. Like, if there
Yeah.
was a way to make that happen in the game and not have it be like the worst grind of all time, like Star
Yeah.
Citizen would be such an incredible game, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
yeah, just nuts.
That sounds like a fantastic time. So
It was
now I'm
so
even more
fun.
excited
Yeah.
to get this operation underway. Um, but yeah, I guess the big thing that like I said I was doing this week was Evo, which I think is probably the best one to start with.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's also the freshest in my mind because I did it just before just before stream.
Yep,
I
me too.
was in Evo.
We were probably in the same
Um,
server.
I think everyone is, as far as I'm aware. There's like
Yeah,
one Evo server going on right now. So yeah,
the usual.
new Evo, 4.2. They're jumping into it. First off, anyone who ever thought, every single time I was like, Mike, we have to look at the monthly report. We have to look at the R&D section where they keep on talking about weather.
You and
Anyone
your
who
damn
thought that
weather.
was a ridiculous thing, I was right. It happened. It was further along than we thought. We have weather. We have both dynamic weather in terms of like dynamic rain, but then we also have some certain locations with static where it's like always raining in this one particular location.
Yeah.
Um, uh, what have like that's the first one I want to talk about. What have been your impressions of just like that so far?
Okay, so unfortunately, that's been like the least of my experience. Like that's the thing that I just
Yeah.
experienced this morning for a short time. So I went to like,
Mhm.
one of those locations that are static,
Yep.
and it was super dark,
Hmm.
and it was just raining, and it was like, oh, this isn't anything super special. Now I
Yeah.
imagine because it's static, right? Like you're just going in the
Yeah.
rain.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
but the dynamic part has to be like probably one of the more immersive experiences you would have. I
Yeah.
have not experienced it yet. Have you?
Yes.
Okay,
So
tell me about it.
they originally had it on Pyro 3 and Pyro 4, the dynamic. They've temporarily removed that and now put that on Hurston for now.
Yep.
And so I've experienced both in Pyro 3 and on Hurston. It's really weird, but super, super cool. So the rain sounds and the thunder sounds are awesome. They're very, very, dare I say the word, uh, if I can remember the word,
Immersive?
immersive.
Yeah. How can you
um,
forget that one?
yeah, exactly. So they're very cool. And then it is like very strange, but like cool when like the rain stops and you do see like a sun ray come past because the weather's dynamic. So the clouds
Yeah.
have moved, they've deformed or whatever. And it makes it really interesting. In addition to that, it looks like the clouds themselves have had another touch up because they seem to look a lot better than they have recently,
Okay.
just in general. So yeah, it's been pretty cool. Now I obviously haven't like gone and done just like regular missions and seen what's like how it's differed anything. It really is just an environmental change, like a
Visual, right?
atmospheric change
Yeah.
at the moment. Yeah, it's all just visual and stuff and like some sound changes,
Like
but it
your
is cool.
Aurora's not
It is
getting shot out of the sky with lightning bolt, is it? There's lightning too, by the way.
that didn't happen to me. We will talk. Actually, yeah, I guess the other mechanic that has come along with this, and this is specifically in the static locations at the moment, but I imagine may expand or may go to other static locations,
Trying to see
is
where they
some of
talk about
these
it.
storms. Um, yeah, some of these storms that exist will essentially prevent you from flying. So I came into one of the static locations at one point. I saw that my power plant, there was a warning that came up that was
Yep.
saying my power plant was like being overloaded or something. I don't remember the exact phrasing.
Distortion
And it was giving me a,
damage. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. And it was like giving me a percentage that was going up until I got out of the clouds. And then it started going down. And I did notice when I came in, I looked down and there was just like 30 shipwrecks from from other people who had flown in and obviously had not been able to get out in time. I love that, and the big reason I love that is because right now CIG don't. It's felt like they don't know how they want to, uh, you know, kind of make these areas that you're not allowed to go, like these restricted areas that you're not allowed to go, usually just with ships. I've like I want them to do more ground vehicle stuff. At the moment, these also affect ground vehicles, I believe.
Yeah.
But I would love it if it
The
didn't,
only
so
thing they
you
don't
could
affect
still
are
drive around there.
Atlas.
Yeah, which I don't think in the game are considered ships or like vehicles through the engine. I think they're considered like creatures or something. I remember there
Yeah,
being a thing about
it's a weird thing,
that. Yeah.
but
Um.
yeah, they're the only thing
But
you
yeah,
can
so that
use there, and I wonder why.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah. So
I wonder. I wonder. Are they trying to sell something here?
is this not so much?
I know. That's why
Uh,
I think this is a good
yeah.
thing. We're gonna say something good about CIG for a moment for
Yeah.
a change here. Go ahead, Croncy. I'll
So
let you take it.
we will try to avoid story spoilers as much as we can for
Yeah.
this Evo patch because there's a lot of really I'll talk about it in a second, but really, really cool story stuff is happening in this patch that I'm like, CIG, you're smashing. It's so good. But at one of these locations, you have these Argo Atlas Icties, which you guys would have heard about. There was the sneak peek a couple of weeks ago where it was an Atlas that had, two machine guns, whatever.
Yeah. Everyone
And they
has seen
exist at
this
these
thing.
locations.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They exist at these locations,
Yep.
and you can get them.
Yeah.
Like
they're just
you just
in
go
the
get them.
world. So if you
Yeah,
want to
exactly.
use these, you can use these. Like you do not have
Yep.
to buy them. You get them at these
Mhm.
locations. The kicker is you can't get them out of these locations necessarily.
Mm.
It's a little bit more difficult
Yeah.
because you get them at a location that you have to ride on a transit to that
Mhm.
go, sends you through the storm that you can't land ships at.
Yeah.
So if you want to use an ICTY elsewhere, then you have to buy it. But if you want to use it in this location, you can use it in this location. And I
Yep.
think that is a decent. It's not perfect, obviously. Perfect would be nobody sells anything. You buy the game once, and CIG somehow has $1 trillion to just spend on
Mhm.
server costs and game development. But that's not reality. So I think that's like a decent middle ground that you will certainly be able to buy them for Astronauty, who's asking in Twitch chat. At some point, whenever this patch comes out, of course you're going to be able to. They're selling flight blades. You don't think they're going to sell the Atlas ICTY, dude? Of course they are. But in this case, you don't feel like you have to buy it.
Yeah.
Right?
As well as it does seem like Wicklow will be offering it as well, from what we can tell.
Yeah, because it's at his shop or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
True. So there's that option as well, most likely. So CIG kind of taking on some of the feedback, maybe, and doing something decent with it here is a nice thing, right? Like there were not Atlas Geos at Hathor. There should have been, but there were not. I thought they were going to replace the Atlas's retractor beams for the Geos, but they just had the Atlas's retractor beams for the batteries, I guess. Yeah. So maybe a mix of both would have been great there. But this sounds like a nice middle ground. I really like that. Thank you, CIG, for that. I think that's quite a nice thing. But yeah, do we want to talk about? Well, I'll let you lead the way because you seem to.
I'll continue a bit more with just like the mechanics that have been introduced in this as well. So radiation now exists.
That's where I was going. So we're on the same page.
Yeah. For anyone who did, anyone who was either at CitizenCon 2023 or did the Pyro playtest for that like week and a half that was on like the old build. As far as I recall, radiation basically works the same way as it did as when you got hit by the big, what are they called? The big flares. But it's now just location based. So if you are around these bad locations, is what I'll call them, for long enough, your radiation will go up.
And your health
for me,
will go
unfortunately,
down.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me, unfortunately, it was bugged, and nothing happened to me. I just saw the radiation meter go up. The only sort of like negative effect that happened to me when I did that was like my Moby Glass started glitching out, which is cool. I like that as an effect. Just makes it a bit more. It makes you panic, right? Which is sort of what that should feel like, I guess. And then I've been hearing from other people that it has been injuring them, and it's been injuries that they can't heal at med beds, and they need to instead make sure they use the like radiation meds that we have.
Yeah, this is the 2023 SitCon effects. Still very similar, like the exact same icons that you see and stuff like that. So this is very similar. It's just like one whole big location that does these kind of things. So yeah, it's pretty simple. There's a radiation suit though. So I'm it's big, it's bulky, and it's pretty cool, but the
very reminiscent of like the what is that? The Zeus suit. It's kind of like
Sure.
the Zeus
Similar
exploration suit
similar in
with
puffiness.
yeah.
To that, and it's just meant to block radiation. And but what's kind of
Mhm.
cool about it is it is a heavy armor, but it doesn't have the same heavy armor damage mitigation that normal heavy armors do. This one's only
Yeah, it's only
25%,
15%, I believe.
25 or
The one
15.
that I had was
They
the one
might
that I
have
had was
lowered it.
15.
Okay, they might have lowered
Yeah.
it even more. I remember seeing 25 or who knows. Regardless, it's not 40, which is what normal heavy armors do. So that shows some insight in like, hey, not all heavy armor should be exactly the same kind of thing. So that's good as well. But overall, it's Hathor and CZ type content at another location that is going to be heavily PvE
Yes.
heavily.
Yeah. Because you were just touching on the suits, I
Meet
want to talk
Siege
about
of
the
Orison
next mechanic.
as well.
Yeah, true.
And the
look,
worst
it's
part of
cool.
Siege of Orison is going to happen. And so
100%, 100%.
people are going to stand in one spot with a railgun, grenade launcher, or anything of the sort and literally kill everyone. And it's going to be horrible. And I can't believe they didn't see it, but they didn't see it again.
There'll be something. There'll hopefully be something that we can do.
Hopefully.
We'll see. But yeah, so we're just talking about the suits. So I want to talk about the next mechanic, which brings us all the way back to CitizenCon 2019. The first one that I ever saw where, hey, it matters what clothes you wear. So in these locations, there are a couple of doors that don't open normally. You need to scan them wearing specific clothes, which I won't tell you what specific clothes you need to wear because that goes a little bit into the story. But when I tried it not wearing those clothes, it did not open for me. It said denied, would not let me in. Sweet. It's cool. It's tech we haven't had in the game before.
It's a bit unfortunate. Should I like tell people the workaround already? I don't know.
Do you mean specifically to get the I'll say
the doors
big key
open?
card?
No, to just open those doors. Like you don't have to wear the clothes.
Oh no, I don't know this.
So I initially just like killed the people wearing the clothes and tractor beamed them in front of the door. Then they came out with the patch note. Yeah. Like Ian was literally watching me do it. And then the next day the patch came out and they went, yeah, you can't kill people and put them in front of the door. And I was like, damn it.
No, they shouldn't have fixed that.
You're not allowed to watch
cringe. They shouldn't have fixed that. It'd be great.
They didn't fix it. So they still might. Now you have to knock them out, which means they're technically still alive. And then you do it. So it's more like Hitman, like kind of style.
Yeah.
Like it's
That's
more
what I'm
like
saying.
stealthy.
It's like the classic.
Yeah.
It's the classic assassin. You knock someone out, you pull their head up to the door that's got the eye scanner.
Exactly. So that's essentially what you're doing there. But I think it is better if you knock them out, go into a corner, change your clothes, do it, and then hopefully no NPCs finds the armor that you changed out of, or they like get but that we expect our AI to do any of that, of course not. So I think their intention is to leave it where you could knock it out, but yeah.
What I like about the idea of it is some of these locations that you can only get into using these clothes and whatnot will have a lot of guys ready to shoot you. And so if you're in just clothes, you've got to take off all your armor and stuff. You're a bit more caught off guard, and it's going to make it a little bit more scary. So cool. I like that. It just changes up the pace of the game a lot more, whereas previously it was just shoot everything in sight, right?
Yeah. Can I point out a Twitch chat message? Why, based on clothes, shouldn't it be biometrics instead? Because it's a video game.
Yeah, you don't get it.
It's a little bit fun. It was like a cool little, like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was dope. It was dope.
Because have some fun with it in your life, man.
Why would someone ever wear that clothes if they weren't that profession? Do you ever think about that? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Why would someone kill me and start wearing my clothes? That's ridiculous. You're silly.
You just
anyway.
He's very obviously a Twitch streamer and should be allowed through the Twitch streamer door.
Exactly.
Look at his shirt.
So yeah, there was that mechanic. I'm trying to think. Like it's pretty dense already, and it sounds like there's still more steps to go for this, this sandbox activity.
Definitely more steps. but apparently, yeah, I
Yeah.
can't say. Fuck, it's annoying. Big steps.
What I will say, some more new like items and stuff can be found as well. One is a irradiated copian horn. I won't tell you how to get it, but that's a thing. So presumably hand-ins for somewhere, sell for somewhere, not sure yet.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see that sort of stuff.
Irradiated and radiation is the theme. There's a lot of
Yeah.
mention in the monthly report or roadmap or something like that of new creatures. I don't know if the idea of an irradiated Copian is the new creature, or there are like new creatures. Like it seems like
Yeah.
we have just like another variant of creatures that we already have seen before.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like we're playing Fallout, guys. We're playing Fallout here.
So now I want to talk a little bit about not the actual story, but just what they've like done here.
Yeah.
That's really impressed me. So, um, you'll know that there's a bunch of new locations straight up there, like these public locations, new mission locations,
But
right?
they're old. Have you noticed what
They
the
are old,
locations
yes.
are?
So, yeah, they're the Good Doctor.
Yeah,
they've
Good Doctor
repurposed
from
the Good
Marina
Doctor.
Commander. Yep.
And they have done a really good job repurposing it, in my opinion.
Agreed.
So the interior is complete. Well, like, sorry, the layout is the same. The interior is completely different in terms of all the branding, all the set dressing, all that
Yep.
stuff. A lot of it is new as well, not just repurposed stuff that they've put in there.
Yep.
And they've made even like the surrounding areas of these locations they feel like they have a bit more life to them. So if you go to like an outpost now, you'll have your main area, maybe you'll have a little second area, and then you'll just have like a turret just by itself. Whereas like these feel like, those little turret sections, they've got a little building attached to them. They've got a little bit of cargo around them. They feel a bit more like an installation, in my opinion. So I think they've done a really good job of that.
There's also med beds that on the outside. Yes. So like I think they're probably there to like resolve issues with radiation and things like that you might have incurred through playing. But you can set your respawn on them. Currently, if you die, and it could be really problematic with our fantastic third month in a row with Tier 0 item recovery. But what's interesting there, probably a bug, if you die, you respawn in that bed naked as of right now.
Interesting.
Don't know if that's intentional or not. Hopefully it is, because these are, again, going to be pretty contested. They're in Pyro. They're going to be heavily PvP locations. People are going to be here just to kill you and get whatever you're trying to take from there, right? Or just to kill you. And
which I will say as well, I do like
they can just respawn.
That there are
not fun.
There are 10 of these locations on Pyro 4, so it is like a little spread out, which is nice. But everyone will be here. So on patch launch, it'll be crazy in every 100% locations.
Yeah, they're gonna reshift 7 servers to Pyro, 3 in Stanton again, and how is Hathor gonna work when they do that? I don't know.
Yeah,
nobody's doing Hathor anyway, so it doesn't matter, I guess.
My question for you, Mike: were you able to get a mission to go to one of these locations? Because I heard that they exist, but I just
no, I didn't think they exist because I thought it was a sandbox activity. So I didn't think it. I didn't even bother to look. I'm gonna be honest. I never even looked.
At least from what I heard on like in the global chat is that people were getting missions to go there to do like an eliminate or a whatever mission.
Oh, just like Hathor, right? Yeah, like the location quantum travel is there. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yes.
But not a mission specifically for this, no?
Correct. Yeah, no mission specifically for this. And so once you get there, you then can sort of begin the sandbox. And once again, this is where I want to talk about the sort of story that they've done. The storytelling that they've been doing with this mission, in my opinion, is by far the best they have done for this game ever.
Yeah, fantastic.
And like vastly, like it's so good. So
go ahead.
You get storytelling from like the comms that are coming over the like what do you call it, like the intercom or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's like 20 different lines that they'll say. They've got all the data pads around all the places for you to look at. Some of it will be specific to the sandbox activity. Some of them are a bit of literally just like lore dumping of like who the company are. Some of them are like, hey, here are some things that are happening in the universe right now, and it's a bit of lore about that and the connections to it.
Yep.
And it all comes together really, really well. While I was exploring it the first time, I was like, holy shit, like I am understanding the motives of this company and all this sort of stuff. And I'm just running around killing things, I'm honestly just looking for keys. And I'm actually absorbing all this information.
Yeah.
Which is something that this game has sorely, sorely needed for so long.
I zoned out for a second in Red Chat.
As well.
Did you mention the voice comm things? Like the like you click on them and they're like audio storylines? Have you seen
I
any
didn't
of those?
mention them, but there's
That's been
so
the best
many
part.
different things. Yeah.
Like again, I came across one and it was from one person, and then I went to another and it was from another person, and the person of the first guy that I heard, he walked into the room. This is not spoiling too much. He walked into the room and in the voice line of the second one that I heard, interacted with her and creates this like almost like I don't know what's happening next, but it makes it feel to me like, do I side with her or do I side with him? Like it's creating a moral choice for me based on the story. I don't know if I make gameplay decisions for that because the game hard stopped. Unfortunately, I got locked into a room and we couldn't get out of it. Like that's the game stopped for me there, and I didn't have enough time to like backspace and try again.
Yeah,
but the like it almost feels like they're going like, are we going this way or are we going that way? And both will result in this. We'll have the same result, but it's giving you like a moral choice, and it's kind of interesting. So yeah.
And then from there, like all of what we were just describing is just like stuff just at these main locations. Without spoiling too much, you then get sent to another location. If you think about it, you personally, the person who is getting invested in the story, needs to think about, well, what is the next step, right? What should I be doing next? You have to take all of these cues that you've gotten from the narrative to figure it out, which is awesome. I absolutely love it. It was super immersive, super exciting. My one concern is that I'm going to get bored of it really quickly, but I'm hoping the content itself is able to continue it. But it's the most impressive thing I've seen from this team in a while.
If the story ends the way we hope it ends, with some really big content, that really big content should be farmable.
Yeah.
So even if it gets quote unquote boring, your farming in MMOs has never been boring to me.
I farm a lot.
Yeah. So hopefully not, right? But I don't know.
So yeah, really, really big fan of what they've done. The one thing I want to mention is in the patch notes, they originally said that this is going to be something that happens like across Stanton and Pyro. As far as I'm aware, it's all Pyro right now.
Maybe you turn in Wicklow, so it's in Stanton. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, very possibly.
Yeah.
But we're still very early days. You can sort of, you can feel where like there's clearly empty content about to happen that just isn't in the Evo patch yet. So
we'll have to see. We will have to see, but it's narratively, it sounds really fun. It's obviously Evo. There's a lot of doors and keys and opportunities for things to break. So we have not learned our lessons from Hathor yet. We have made them worse, I believe.
Not to mention one of the keys that you can get just has an open window. So you can just get like a gravlev and just fly in there.
That's what we did. Yeah, that's exactly how I did it. Like we were like, we can't figure out how to get in here, so just knock me out. And we're like,
which also sucks because I found out how to get in there, and it's once again a bunch of really cool narrative stuff. It's like, or I could just like, and I'm in.
Yeah. So hopefully they address that, but we'll see.
Yeah.
That hopefully is feedback that they've been getting over time. But and the devs who like we have an Evo channel on my Discord, and a couple devs happened to be around that morning when I was playing, and they just were muted watching, said nothing, and I imagine they were just taking in all of the exploiting we were doing. Like I was using the box to get the doors that we were inside, like we were just doing it all. And Yeah, I mean, it's Evo, so who cares? You just keep showing them every problem that they need to solve before they release it, and hopefully they solve it, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah, very cool mechanics. Other thing I want to say is read
Mhm.
everything, look at
Yep.
everything, because they did a really good job communication wise to be like, this is what this is what you
Yep.
do with it, right? Like it
Mhm.
is it they made it very
Like,
clear, so it's
literally
like
look at the walls. You need to be
correct.
looking at the walls. Yeah.
Yes, read the walls, look at the screens and all those things. It, like, one of them literally says step 1 do this, step 2 do that, like
Oh,
it.
sorry. No, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I do love that. So that's I'm gonna spoil that one because it's actually not narrative purpose thing. There's like a the facilities have like a, be careful when you go outside type thing.
yeah,
I don't remember what the anagram was, but it was really stupid. And it's like, be careful, tell someone you're outside, grab a weapon. It's just silly.
yeah. The one I'm
Yeah.
talking about is very different from that. It is like,
Oh, okay, okay.
this is what you do with the
Shoo,
really,
shoo. There we go. Yeah.
this is like the really big thing that you like, this is what you do with the really important item, and it
Yeah.
will, you like, it tells you like that item has a timer on it, and like,
Hmm.
you have to go here with it. The thing is, you have to go here. I have not found where here is yet, so that's where everything kind
Yeah.
of is broken. I don't know if it's in the game or not yet, but I haven't found it personally. But I'm really enjoying, I haven't gotten as much time as I wanted into it,
Hmm.
but I'm really like enjoying the uncovering of everything, I guess, would be the,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
cool.
I would have liked to get more time in it, but today everything kind of broke down. There was at least in the server, I was like, no NPCs were spawning. All the keys were broken for the most part. So now I'm just kind of hoping for like another patch tomorrow or the day after, and then jumping
Yeah.
back in and
But that's the
yeah,
scary part.
into more testing.
Tons of different keys.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, man. So many
Yeah.
doors, so many opportunities for shit to just stop you dead in your tracks. Like, it's gonna be Hathor all over again. And I hope
Yep.
it's not. Hold this one back as long as you need, guys. Please, please, please.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, this one
Hathor
isn't tied to
showed
a ship sail, so it should be okay.
until it is, right? The like, the cutlass storm that can somehow, it's got lightning rods on it and can somehow get through every storm or something like that. The
I will actually precursor this. Not precursor this. If they release a ship that is good in storms, as in like the mechanic that I was talking about earlier, where your
Yep.
ship powers down, I'll be mad. They do not do it. Make it a mechanic that you can't bypass with money at all.
Why would they
Because
do
that's
that?
stupid. Ah!
The community's all behind it, guys. It's all over. Nobody's talking about it anymore. Nobody cares. Just sell everything again. It's fine. It's totally fine. I mean, honestly, if they did that after this, if the community doesn't
Yeah.
completely riot, I don't like, I don't know what would
Because it's
happen.
like, if you did that, like, what's the point of the mechanic in the first place?
Exactly. But again,
That is,
what's the
it's
point
a
of the
literal
floodplains?
paywall.
Yeah.
It is a wall that you can't get past physically unless you pay money.
What's the point of any of
Anyway.
this stuff, right? So it's like, if
Yeah.
you could just buy it, right? What's the point of playing the game if you could just buy the experience of playing the game? It's just the same story over and over again. It's really disappointing. But anyway, narratively, this Evo seems to be the coolest. There's something else which I did not bring up, and we actually didn't mention, so I will quickly try and scoop it up right now. Roadmap Roundup pointed out at 4.2.x. So I don't believe what we just talked about is what they're referencing. Do you?
I don't even think I looked at the roadmap around.
All right, well, yeah, we'll bring it up. Believe it or not, it was actually worth looking at. So for the first time in a while, so I'll bring it up here and we'll scroll down past 4.1 release view, all the same bullshit that we already know. Okay, cool. New creatures, multiple new creatures in the verse. I believe these are like the irradiated versions of things, but maybe there's something else new. Hairstyles are all very basic. They're all just like medium length shit and like one receding hairline one. Radiation, we talked about. The ASD research facilities, we've talked about. The data center, like you start at the research facility, then you go to the data center kind of thing. It's like part of the sandbox activity. We talked about the Atlas. Wicklow ships. I want to talk about this for 2 seconds. Stop CIG this bullshit. I do not want a single Wicklow ship added until you're actually changing how we do this stuff, because the more ships you add in the grades of the ships, the more RNG mechanics there are. And it's like, if you add like 5 more ships to the category of the ship that I'm trying to get, now I have to get 10 times more of the material and then like roll this loot thing. It's really, really like, it makes me like not want to participate in it. I would much rather you expand the amount that I have to gather to be like excessively more to guarantee that I'm getting what I want, right? Like, hey, if you want a Corsair or something, let's say, like, this is what it will cost you. And you just like go there and do that. Like, it's already got a ton of steps. And then the last step is like roll the dice. Like, what? That's just really frustrating. Wicklow is super awesome. Just change that and it's going to be fantastic. The shotgun I haven't tried yet. Did you? I haven't found it.
I haven't seen it.
Me neither. And I couldn't find it.
I haven't heard of anyone seeing it yet.
Okay.
So
it's listed on the not ready for feedback section. So there's that. The suit we've already talked about, so this isn't this is not a spoiler. The thing, the suit's there. Dynamic rain we talked about, and then we get here, new global event. This is the cross shard event. So that means if you're on an Australian server and I'm on a US server, we may be participating in the same event, like somehow. So this is interesting. I assume this is like going about this.
I assume this is like supply or die-ish type event,
but built upon the feedback that we got from Supply or Die. It sounds like.
Hopefully,
this one's interesting.
So this does not sound like what we were just talking about. What we were just talking about definitely sounds more like the sandbox activity from earlier
and the story stuff. This sounds something. Who knows? I imagine this is Regen Crisis based though. But
surely it's part of the narrative, but like just not. Just an event-based thing. Because it is a .x as well, it won't be next month. We won't see it until at least July, based on their release cadence so far this year. And could be further, obviously. So
hopefully this is cool. The cross shard part is the one to point out. Very interesting, of like everybody participating together in some way for something, it sounds like. And the rest of the stuff is like, new combat mission, new armor, who cares?
Cool.
Utility armor is the main thing to pick out there, because the radiation armor is labeled a utility armor, so this might have some special quality to it. Maybe it's just a radiation armor. And then progress tracker is like worthless. But I just wanted to point out the cross shard part, because that's kind of pretty sick. Pretty sick. Where were we going after this before I stopped you? My apologies.
Oh, so I said, speaking of money, a bunch of ships came out this week. It's Invictus. Does everyone remember it's Invictus?
Who cares?
I do to some extent.
I know,
some of the stuff
I do too.
Some of the stuff I care a lot less. Which one do you want to start with?
I really like I like the idea of the Guardian. I just don't think it fits like any meta where I would want to use it. In anything, like there's just other ships that are better for what it can do in every category, but it's so cool looking.
So that's what I was gonna say. So I'm a bit of a Mirai fanboy. Once again, contractually obligated to like Mirai. The Guardian MX looks so much better than the regular Guardian. Like, it's not even close. The wings just look better. Way cooler. I do really, really enjoy it as well. The 4x4s, just because I love chucking some Gatlings on there and going real hard. It's cool. It doesn't replace the Guardian for me. It definitely is just another option.
It replaces it for me. Like I would not use the regular Guardian anymore. I don't think.
Interesting.
Yeah, 4x4s is just more satisfying. And
plus all the missiles.
Yeah, extra armor apparently, the missiles. Like, it just seems just better in that standpoint. And like, I think they did the paints better with this than anything I've seen. Like, come on, that paint is so good. And then
if you go to, I think it's Harlequin, That's nice. That's nice.
That one's sick.
If you go to the Harlequin, I did
hate
see
this one.
on Reddit. I like this one, but I love Brett Paints. We've talked about it before. But I did see someone look at this skin on the regular Guardian because these are interchangeable, unlike another ship which we'll be talking about in a sec.
Looks worse or better?
It looks so cursed.
Really?
it looks,
Okay.
It looks bugged.
Well, because this is not the same ship.
Exactly. The shape is different.
Yeah.
The shape of the wings is too different that the skin just doesn't work.
Yep.
Which is a little funny, but I am glad at least that the skins are interchangeable between the two.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Not bad.
I'll like I said, it's not going to replace the Guardian for me. I'll use both of them interchangeably whenever I feel like it, really. But you can guarantee there's going to be ballistics on them regardless.
Yeah. I just like the idea of more guns, the better. That's just how I've always been. I never liked the idea of like bigger guns, but less of them for whatever reason.
Yep.
Ooh. Power.
So because I was talking about the skins. Oh.
Yeah. So hopefully I'll still be here. I'm battery back up for a few minutes. We've been getting a lot of little blips lately.
Yeah. So because we were just talking about the skins, I think we talk about the Asgard next.
Okay.
So Anvil Asgard came out. It is, regardless of what CRG say, it is a Valkyrie variant, just straight up.
It's the Valkyrie Mark II is what I called it.
I don't call it the Mark II because I do think that they're both different enough, but the regular Valkyrie is still missing a lot of gameplay.
Yeah.
And like that sucks. But there's so it looks cool again as well.
Very.
The risen wings at the back, and the like extra pair of wings look very, very cool.
Very
big fan of that.
Of all the ships that we have in the game, these are the closest to like some of the really cool Star Wars ships that I've seen that are more of like the what civilians would just be kind of flying around. Kind of gives me more of what was the Mandalorian ship originally? Forgot the name of it, but that's the vibe that it's always given me. I really like this.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint.
Valkyrie has been the Valkyrie itself has been one of my favorite ships like since I started playing. It's the only military ship that I own in my hangar because I just think it's really, really dope. So I am a fan of the Asgard. I don't think I'll be grabbing it myself.
I like the interior. I've always liked the interior of both of these.
Yeah.
Like the big back, and then you have that like multi-level thing that you just look at. It's always been a very nice interior. And again, like what separates Star Citizen from literally any other game I've ever played is, the walking in and out of your ship. And if the walking in your ship is a satisfying and enjoyable experience, then, that obviously gives it a bonus, right, for me. So like I'm with you. I love the ship visually, but I just don't see a need for it. But
Yes, feature-wise, some of the things I am a big fan of that they did. We finally have a ship's like smaller than the C2 that can carry a tonk. Awesome. That's been a long time coming. So yeah, very happy to see that, so people can actually use that. I do like that there is a bit of a trade-off with the weapons, so you do lose some of the
the turret behind you cover
the turrets. Yep. And like it is a sluggish vehicle, so even though you do get a more weapons slaved to the pilot, this ship does not particularly turn fast. It's going to be still hard for you to hit your target if you're just all shooting like frontward facing.
Yep. It's
my big problem with the ship,
but
so
like for PvE stuff,
I think
6 3s and 2 4s. So the 2 4s are manual turret, but for the pilot you get 6 3s. Which is quite a bit.
Speed.
So if you like doing PvE stuff and like looting the cargo, this is like an amazing ship for that, probably.
Yeah. My big problem with the ship, we were just talking about the Guardian MX and the Guardian and how different those vehicles are.
Yeah.
And yet they still have crossover with skins. Why the hell do these ones not? These ones are like even closer to each other than the Guardian and the Guardian MX are. So at this point, it just like doesn't even make sense to me. I can't even be like because CRG want to like pull all the money out that they can. Because then why didn't they do that with the Guardian MX? I just don't get it. It makes no sense to me.
He's mad, guys. Yeah. He's very mad.
I'm mad about skins, which is the one that I want to be mad about. Is about the stuff that just makes the ships pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes no sense to me at all.
I had to break you for a tiny second there. You were on full screen and
Yeah,
it
you're
was
good.
all messed up. But yeah, the skin stuff is it gets really weird when they do stuff like
Hmm.
this. Like I totally get having an individual skin now for individual ships. I never liked that idea initially, but
Hmm.
again, I want them to make a lot of money via cosmetics. So if you break everything out and kind of make people need or feel the need to buy, well, I got to buy one for my Gladius and I got to buy one for,
Yeah,
the this and that. I'm sort of okay with that. But yeah, when it comes to these, it gets really weird because it's like, dude, it's like the same exact layout. Like, what are we doing here?
yeah.
But yeah, so they did give the copper paint with this too, which was like a very popular paint on the Valkyrie. So
Well, yeah. So the Valkyrie Liberator, which I don't remember the only way you can get it because I got gifted it by a great friend. But
Sitcon,
I think it was.
Sitcon 2017 or
Yeah, there you go.
2018, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an
I will
old
say the
school.
two. We looked at the two paints next to each other. They're very different. Like
Ah, okay.
the gradient is very different. The shininess is very different. People will still probably confuse one for the other, but as an owner of a Valkyrie Liberator, I don't care as much about that. I just would rather be able to move skins between the two ships regardless.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
yeah, that's the Asgard.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else kind of happened.
So we also got the TAC. The TAC got released. I had an opportunity to play around with it today. Really fun, actually. We did a bunch of FPS missions with it, and the side turrets that it has that
You
like
able to take out turrets like below
yeah,
you really easily? Nice.
yeah, they point at the ground because they're supposed to be like sort of anti-infantry,
Mm-hmm.
and it felt like it because you can't hit anything that's not below you most of the time. But it was cool. It was very interesting to actually use. We went to a couple of missions in Pyro where about half the enemies are outside, half the enemies are inside. So we got in the turrets, we cleared the ones on the outside. We dropped someone out, which you can also just do with the little drop sections that it has in the center. And then they ran inside and cleared it out. So it was pretty interesting content. That proper content still doesn't really exist. There isn't like missions designed for that necessarily. But
Maybe
this
if
would be a great vehicle for it.
yeah, maybe if AI start using ground vehicles, then it might make sense.
Yeah, 100%, right?
Yeah.
Or we get more of these like storm locations where maybe in some areas you have to use the ship and then get out and go further. But yeah, there's not much to say about it because they've talked about this ship to death for the last 9 months.
Since CitizenCon,
yeah. But pretty cool. Once again, not a ship I would buy, but maybe I'll pay UEC for it at some point.
As somebody
at
who
the moment, my eyes are just
absolutely
on, yeah.
loves the Starlancer Max, I'm surprised at how little I give a shit about this one.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I love it for its cargo capacity. So like you take the cargo
Mhm.
capacity away and the ship has no excitement for me because it's just like it's kind of ugly and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah. It was always about the cargo
Yeah,
for
no,
me.
fair enough.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm just still excited for the coming weeks. I really just want to get out of the Evo stage and just get into PTU.
Yep.
We talked about that earlier. Like I think it's again, I've been saying this for years, just time to do that. There's no need in hiding it. Like if you're allowing creators to literally say what's going to happen, and we were kind of nice to you and didn't say everything, to allow you to experience it. I don't know what to do. But again, they like want to preserve their stories. I get it for this year, but it's gonna be, I don't know, like people can't avoid it. The spoiler. Like it's
Yeah, right. Like it feels almost like I wonder if they can do stuff like this and have it when we test it because it still needs to like go through Evo. It still needs to like get all the testing.
Mhm.
Can they do it in a way that we don't even find anything out about it? Like all of the pads are blank except for a code. All of the like what do you call it? Like all of the walls and TVs and what there are just like black or white, right? Just
or like
sort
this
of
is a
irrelevant.
placeholder voice line. This is a
Yeah,
placeholder voice
right.
line, you know?
That would still allow them to get all the testing in they need before PTU, where I think everyone is guaranteed to get spoiled at PTU regardless. It's
Yeah.
like wave one stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of tough. But yeah, that's all I really have. We can go to callers. We don't have a lot. I know we're trying to have the podcast go until noon to discuss what might happen with
Yeah.
Drake. So we might give you guys a little bit more time on the line today. Maybe, you know, if you still want to talk about Flight Blades. That's the other thing. You know what? If we want to extend it a little bit, I feel we could talk about Flight Blades, but not in the way that you would think. Like this morning, there were more videos to watch that of other creators talking about Flight Blades today, and I just went like, ugh, I did that, and if I'm doing that, what's the average backer feeling?
Yeah,
right, and like they're winning, their strategy is working, and it's kind of disgusting that it was like, let's say nothing, let's do nothing, let's let it die, and let's keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the theme of, like, if we want to talk about what happened this week, the fact that nothing happened this week is the news. And that's pretty screwed up. Like, let's not forget the original post, ton of hate. The retraction post got an equal amount of hate. And we did nothing with that feedback. Nothing. Except for saying nothing.
I will say I don't think the reaction post got an equal amount of hate, because the amount of people that I've heard who have treated it as like essentially not what it is. But the amount of people who have treated it as like they've backtracked, they've addressed it, whatever.
That's fair.
When they haven't. It hasn't actually been addressed.
It's the same amount of like frustrated reactions and the same amount of upvotes on the top post for the most part. Like the top post on the first one has like 3K upvotes, and mine is the top voted one on the second one, and it has like 2K. So yeah, I guess it's not the same amount, but it's still a significant amount. And it's
this is
spreading out to wider and wider and wider audiences, and people are looking at this and it's like, holy crap. So, but I don't see anybody coming to my Twitch channel going, so you know, are what these people saying true? Is the game a scam?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, look, it can be very tiring anytime we have something really rough happen in Star Citizen to just be constantly talking about it, right? And that's got to be what a lot of the community sentiment has been in the last couple of days. Yeah. This is why last week I said, like, you don't have to necessarily worry about it right this second. It's when it happens again, you have to be louder than last time.
Yes.
Right? Because it will happen again, right?
They're saying it will, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Like it's just, if they don't make a comment on any of the feedback they got on that second post, we're just replaying the record. And it's like, but then at the same time, if we say nothing, and I'm having this, you know, inner battle with me where, like, initially when this happened, I said, I'm not going to give this up. I'm not going to give this up. It's either like I die here or we succeed in the game being better. And I'm dying. I'm already dying. Like, my health is low, dude. My health is low.
Gotta get out of that radiation zone.
Yeah, I gotta buy a radiation suit on the website, which should just be a skin.
Yeah. I think in the short term, I don't think anything's gonna happen either way. I think what's more likely to happen is in like 6 months' time, they'll try something again. Whether they know it or not, they'll try something again that's in a similar vein. And then, it's just, we do the same thing, but louder. It's the only real way that you can sort of do this, because we have also, like the community has pushed back on stuff from CIG before, obviously. Sometimes in terms of gameplay, sometimes in terms of like bad business practices. But as I said last week, like, never to this extent. And that's, like, as a member of the community, that's what spoke most to me. And I've got to imagine CIG see that is like someone is like, oh wow, holy shit, they really did not like it, right?
Yeah, like I said it last week, like, I am my opinions are not usually widely adopted by the majority of the Star Citizen community, and I think for the first time, um, like we were all together on that one, and then there's a few select weirdos that are not. And what's funny is they're coming to my channel and saying you're in the minority here, and I'm like, buddy, are you like in a room by yourself thinking you're in the majority? Like, what is going on here? Like, this is like,
Yeah.
look around you. Like, we've never seen a more united like front on something before, like ever outside
Literally
of
ever.
yeah. So like you have to be blind to say something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm struggling with like, how do we move forward with this? And it's like, do we just make jokes about it now, like the flight blade jokes that are constantly happening, or you know what I mean? Like,
Well, we do until we are very, very sad in 6 months' time. It happens.
yeah,
again,
like
and
laugh
there's
so you
no-
don't cry
Yeah.
sort of situation.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah.
I don't want to stop bringing it up, but I don't want to become exhausting for people either. And it's a challenge right now because this was really bad. This was really, really bad, and they're not suffering the way we are.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
And it's frustrating. So yeah.
I think a good instance here with a recent example that we sort of talking about is these icties being available at this
Yeah.
location, these new things, and being able to say, "See this, what you did? That's good.
Yeah.
That's what you should have done, right?" And then we would have given you all this praise and whatnot. Do more of that. Like, I will spend more money if you do more of that. I ain't buying blades on the website, but I will like buy some more skins for the Icti if
Yeah.
I can get
Can
the
you
Icti
please
in-game.
separate like if they just did one, like just separated out the skin by itself this week?
Mhm.
Like, could you have at least done that? You know, like
Yeah,
that's how
yeah.
I feel. Like that's how like, oh, I don't want to curse, but like that's how like evil they're feeling to me. Is like, you didn't even just
Yeah.
like give us a package for the paints, because I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
buy those. I want to buy a couple of those paints, and I
Mhm.
can morally not buy them. I cannot buy them.
Yeah.
And I want to support CIG by buying paints. Like, I want to. Well, I won't be buying them, but I will melt ships that I have and then buy them with store credit, and that will eventually deplete my store credit pool. And if I want to buy a ship, I'm
Yeah,
going to
then
have
you
to do
buy
it.
something. Yeah,
Right? So it's
Yeah, it
kind of
works
the same
eventually.
thing. Yeah.
yeah.
But like, I want to
Yeah.
support them in that way, and it's just like, are you hearing any of us? Do you care? Like, that's how I'm feeling right now with the silence. Like,
Mhm.
how little do you actually care? And because like, we're all sitting here super passionate. Where's yours?
Mhm.
Like, where's
Yep.
yours behind this, guys? Like, it's just embarrassing. I'm so angry right now. I'm so angry, like right in this moment by that.
Yeah. I
But,
will say, I
yeah.
think there's also a world if they do want to communicate, like better than they did. They may just wait until after Invictus, which I don't think is necessarily because they're trying to be predatory to like get people to spend more money. There just is a lot of communication about a lot of things during Invictus, and it may get lost in the get lost in the cloud of it. So, yeah, my hope, I guess, would be that we hear something. When does Invictus end? Like 4 days? Maybe in the next 2 weeks we hear something. Otherwise, I am okay with hearing nothing for a while.
I
But
just want like just split
exactly
out
what
the
you said.
paints.
We gotta just keep
Just
bringing it
split
up.
out the paints, and then it
Yeah.
would be like a sign. You know, it would be a sign that you're listening. Because
Yeah.
right now it's like, don't you feel like everything you said is on deaf ears? Like, based off of
Yeah.
everything that's happened right now. Like you said, it will happen again. Why? Because it sounds like
Yeah.
they're not listening, even though they're saying, "We hear you. We really appreciate your feedback." Yeah, okay. But like that's like, they gotta walk the walk. They're always talking, and they just
Mhm.
consistently do bad shit. So yeah. Ugh.
So if
Sorry,
you want to call
everyone.
into the Answer the Call podcast, what you can do is you can go into the description here on YouTube or on Twitch in Max Chat if you got exclamation mark podcast. Follow the link, head into the green room, and then we'll get you guys in.
I'm depressed. All right. We have a full set of callers now, and
Yep.
I think that's probably pretty good for
Yep.
where we're at. I did not put in the caller's name, so I'm gonna do that real fast. If you want to pull Doc in, you can.
Let's
if you're able to see it.
do it. Yeah. Dr. Introvertius, you are here on the line. Answer the call. 1-800 romantic requests. What do you want to talk about today?
1-800 ship sales.
Yep, that's more like it. That's the
Yeah,
be the ringtone.
How are we doing?
Are you playing? I saw you come in today to the stream, and I'm like, oh, Doc's back. I haven't seen him in forever. Are you even
I was
playing?
playing. Well, because I don't have basically any time anymore because of work. I get like 3 hours a night to actually do stuff.
That's a
and
lot of time.
because SC takes like an hour to get stuff set up. Anything set up takes
Yep.
So I'm just like,
I thought you meant you were playing 3 hours a night. I was like, that's a lot.
oh god, no, hell no, hell no. No.
Yeah.
I have been playing a little bit. I've been starting to get back into it because I've not played in like 4 months, 3 months properly. I think it's been a while. But yeah, no, I'm starting to get back into it.
How would you add to our conversation of like what's been going on lately?
I've heard bits and pieces. Sort of the flight blade stuff is like just no, they don't even do anything from what I've seen. I've seen a couple of stats on them, and they
apparently
don't really
you said they're placeholder.
Oh,
okay. Well,
in a
even
Discord
then
somewhere, like the usual like CIG communication stuff that is just not ideal.
Yeah. What I would recommend, if you go to friend of the podcast, EchoBit, if you go to their, I think on their Twitter, but maybe also somewhere else, they did tests of some of the blades both in atmosphere and in space. In space, it's very obvious the differences. You'll get like a full like 25% faster acceleration to your max speed and that sort of stuff. In atmosphere, less so.
Okay, I mean, I could see the improvements, but they didn't have to sell them. I mean, this is CIG we're talking about. They'll sell literally anything they can get their hands on at this point.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't sell like the worms that you find in the vents and CZs that you can eat, right? Like,
yeah, yeah. I mean, they'll sell literally anything that I can think of. I mean, they'll sell anything. Yeah. Other than that, the ship sales have been quite. I mean, sort of the Idris wave sales have been sort of.
Oh, we didn't talk about that.
I feel sorry for some of those guys.
That they're like that they're opening up like significantly more Idris sales. That could be a thing, like due to our feedback as well, where they're like, all right, well, we intended to make this much money during this Invictus. And if the flight blades aren't selling that well, or the community is like very angry about it, we'll just sell more pictures, like or
have some more
Idrises.
slop you can buy.
Yeah, so like maybe that's what's going on, but also on top of that, like they're selling out in literal seconds. So people who actually want them aren't able to get them, and
exactly. Like even if they are selling a ton of them, so many people I've heard from still can't get one.
Yeah,
no, they're ridiculous. Like
I've never tried. I don't care.
F5 gone in like 2 seconds. It's
like
it's wild.
Come on, after that experience that I had with the mining stuff, like I want one really bad.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm not going through that to get one.
Yeah,
hopefully it's a Wicklow.
I'll get it in game.
Wicklow reward.
I saw one in game, and it's massive. It is. It's massive. It's I want one. That's all I'm saying.
It's very dope, very fun. Right now, it does have pretty much only one mission that is designed for it, which is the Hunt the Polaris. And that mission is really fun in it, Idris. So.
It's still very like you could use it for whatever.
Exactly.
You can use it for whatever you want. If you have an idea, you got the people, you can plan pretty much almost anything. I was going to say everything, but there's like a line to it.
Yeah.
I mean, the ship sells as well. I mean, I'm going to sound like a right shill, but the Star attack sale, the best ship trailer I've seen in a while. I'm going to say it. You can hold me to it. Best one in a while I've seen.
Chris Roberts, the director, he wins again. He's just very good at that stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure he was stood over the guys like, yes.
Really, you think it's better than the what was the Drake mining ship? My brain not working.
Oh, the golem.
Yeah, you think it's better than the Golem ad? The Golem ad's so good.
For whatever
I
reason, I
didn't see
can't
that one, so I
remember
can't
the
really
golem
comment.
ad.
The
I can't-
Golem
yeah.
ad is a guy just mining while there's just murder going on behind him with like all capital ships and
I'm gonna
stuff.
go. I need to look back at
It's
it.
an
Man.
absolute
That's the
banger.
Kraken one. That's also the Kraken
Oh,
trail.
it's
That's
Hathor.
literally
The Kraken one goes hard.
Yeah.
That was
nice.
one of the
I like that one.
That was one of the first things I ever saw in Star Citizen. Was in like 2019. I saw the Kraken ad from like the previous year or whatever. And hey, then I bought a package, so it obviously worked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there
this
it
is one
is.
of my favorite ads. I love this one. He's just chilling while everyone else is dying.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's cool. But anything else, Doc?
Nothing much really. Although for the past few weeks, I've been seeing actual devs out and about, which is pretty cool.
Devs?
I don't talk to them because obviously we're sort of, it's like at work and stuff. We're like sort of like heading into work, so I don't really get a chance to talk to them. But yeah, I keep seeing a few of them out and about.
Like you're in Manchester and you
Yeah.
see them out in public.
Yeah.
Yeah, just yell at it, like just yell at them. Star Citizen's a scam. Anytime you see any of them, and see what happens. See if they like, turn around or
They
something
just
like
get
that.
based and then they keep walking.
They'd be like,
Yeah,
true,
yeah.
but it's a good paycheck, so I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, say hi to us. Say hi for us, I should say.
Yeah.
But
I
all right,
might
Doc.
see him next month. I'm not sure yet. I might see
Cool.
a few of them next month.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
there's not too much.
All right, brother. I guess we'll let you go then, and hopefully we'll see you in the org soon.
Hopefully, yeah.
All right, brother.
I do intend to. It's just life.
Understandable.
Yeah,
Understandable.
Yeah.
Enjoy
So I'll see you in a
it.
bit.
Yeah, man. All right,
See
bye
you.
now. All right, so that was Doc. Our next caller is Call Me Teach, becoming pretty regular as well.
Gentlemen.
Hello.
Love to hear from you.
It's been so much fun, hasn't it?
Yeah. Unironically, I had so much fun this week. Holy crap.
Yeah, like
my
I
God,
kind
me
of did
too.
too.
Most of it
but-
was an Evo,
yeah.
but like, yeah, I did have a lot of fun this week.
Yeah.
Most of mine was based on the thing that Mike said toward the beginning of the podcast. Mining events. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to help you out. I've got to give you a little bit of resurgence, and I've got to boost up your health bar here real quick, Mike, because mining
it.
events, oh my God, dude.
Well, like if we
ended
have
up
a mining
setting
event,
up.
what do you mean?
No, we.
Oh, like
we
just
did
grouping up with
one
your friends. Gotcha.
with my org.
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
the org that I'm a part of. Shout out to Marauder Squadron, everybody.
Shout out.
We ended up going and doing a big old mining event over on I think we were in Bloom. Like just had an Idris sitting out in orbit.
Yep.
And we had a couple of prospectors go down, fill up. They would come up to the ship. We'd do the same pit stop process. You go through the back, full bags off, new bags on, out.
Yep.
It was
Yeah. It works for everything other
well-oiled
than
machine.
It works for everything other than Quantanium,
Moles.
because obviously the bag breaks
Man, moles
or
can't
the
fit.
the bags explode.
Yeah.
Yeah, moles can't fit, but you can like,
Just park in front of it and
yeah,
move all the stuff. Yeah.
Or
exactly.
just have like 6 prospectors and just keep rolling through.
Yeah,
It was
screw
so
them
much
all.
fun.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say the prospectors make it a lot more self-contained, which is fun. That's cool.
I'll see if I can
Yeah,
find
it's
my
great.
stream from yesterday. I'm looking for it.
But yeah, that was the highlight of my week. I heard from one of the guys in the org who's also an Evo member about the dynamic storms and weather, and I was like, oh damn. So you got hit by lightning and your fuses went out, got burnt, your power plant got burnt out. Like he got hit hard. It was crazy.
Yeah, like no ship can survive the storm, including an Idris. Just keep that in
Yeah.
mind.
And that's
It
absolutely crazy.
is designed to be a you can't come here in a ship.
Correct.
I mean, a reason for ground vehicles. That's all I got to say.
That's my hope. But right now, ground vehicles are also affected by the same thing. So
Yeah.
maybe not. Like my hope is there, but it's running out pretty quickly.
On the subject of vehicles, having the Atlas ICTY come in and all that too. Like, I think it was funny when the original Atlas came out and it was having issues being stored in vehicles when you stored a vehicle. So the original thing with that, from what I had heard, was the fact that it's treated as an entity not a vehicle. So like, I don't know why, but apparently they're NPCs that we can just become part of. And
Do you know why
I
they're
don't-
treated as an entity? Have you tried to put it down a freight elevator yet? Because you can. Have you
Yeah,
tried to
they
pull it
do
up
that
from a
now,
freight
right?
elevator yet? Because you can.
It's gonna be.
So that's
great.
another thing. So I think they're
I'm
trying
so
to
excited.
they're trying to deliver some ground stuff. Like maybe they
Yeah.
won't get the wheeled vehicles through there yet, but they're trying to get the
Yeah.
at least the Atlas is doing that, and that would be a wonderful quality of
Start.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing. Look at this. Look what's about to happen. I'm about to fly through the
watching.
Idris and go on. Oh, and look, like, see what I
watching.
mean? Like, she's got the atlases like in the lights spots and
Yeah, yeah.
everything. Like, it's just so ridiculous.
That's dope. That's so
In the
sick.
midst of while we're watching that, I do want to make a comment about blades for a second because I'm gonna have a different take. I agreed with Mike on the fact that I use store credit for mine. I'm not putting in money toward that. Screw that. Like bad. But
Yeah.
I got the MPUV blades because I liked the paint and I thought that it was cool that you
You
spend.
trying to join
the-
Foxy's org? What's going on?
No. But here's my thing. Okay, so
can
you spend
only
$10
have-
for that.
If you
and
have
you get
those,
6 blades in a paint versus the $18 for a Gladius one, and you just get the 2 blades for that.
what a great deal. Or
Yeah, or we
You
can
can
just
just play the
get the
game.
blades in game.
or you can just
Hold it
play the
all, I
game.
agree.
That's crazy. And then maybe they could just like sell you the cosmetic by itself.
No, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I
Sorry,
think that
I'm not
the
mad
whole
at you, but it's
process
just
is
like
wrong.
again, this is all directed at CIG.
It's hard
like,
to
Yeah,
not be
it's-
heated in this conversation.
It's so
Yeah.
It is
bad, man.
bad.
Like it gives you the shakes, literally. Like
Mhm.
I'm
But
shaking
yeah,
and
the
vomiting
radiation's
thinking
cool.
about it.
the radiation's cool.
The radiation is
Radiated-
cool. I'm
radiated-
hoping I get to see what actually happens to it. But from what I've been hearing from other people, it's like, yeah, you take damage, but it doesn't heal normal. You need to like heal it in other ways.
What it
Oh,
makes
see,
me
I don't know anything
curious
about that. Okay, cool. I've
Yeah.
always had the
Talked about-
suit on.
Yeah,
You can get like a de-radiation pen. I don't know if that
Apparently,
also solves
yeah.
the injuries that you sustain from it as well, though.
Okay.
Those are
Yeah.
already in game too, like all the other different types of med pens, like the decon pen, detox pens, all those, green and purple and whatnot. But yeah,
Mhm.
on the subject of those suits and the updates to even some of the older ones, like RSI Zeus suit going down to 25% HP
Oh, it
for
did
like
as well.
the damage percentage,
Hell
stuff like
yeah.
that. That makes me curious about some of the other hazard suits that we've also
Mhm.
gotten in Subflare before. Are those going
Uh,
to be usable?
Usable, sure, but are they, as
Like,
They're
defensible?
like
is it-
temperature hazards, right?
Yeah,
So-
they're not FPS like combat suits,
Yeah.
right? They're meant
No,
for
no,
other
no,
things.
no. Like the biohazard ones that are clothing, not armor.
Oh, I thought you were referring to the temperature ones.
Yeah.
Like
Do you
the
mean like
Pembroke
the
and stuff.
Do you mean like the one that's like the yellow helmet and
Yeah.
it's got like the red eyes?
No, I'm talking
no.
Is that
about
different?
like it's got like a face shield
Yep.
and
It's
a
a
bunch
literal
of like
bio
straps
suit.
and shit on it,
Yeah.
and it's got
I-
a big old biohazard symbol.
Okay.
Yeah,
The only time I wear it is at Invictus and
Mm.
IAE to prevent any possible copium like coming in to my suit. So I wear my biohazard suit to keep it all out.
Yeah,
And
keep
I
it away
don't
from them.
it's worked perfectly. I've never bought a ship at any of these while wearing that suit. So that was
Keep
an
it away
excellent
from me.
purchase for me.
Removed next patch just to make Mike buy stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I wear my biohazard suit only at the ship sale events, and it's worked perfectly.
That's great.
That's the only RP I've ever done in this game. Is that?
I don't think that necessarily counts as RP.
Oh
Unless
yeah.
you're going around in Invictus being like, haha, not buying that one, not buying that one.
Can't get me. Copium
I got the
addicts.
suit on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was it for me, guys. I was really excited about the mining stuff. I think it's going to be cool using the Idris for a
Yeah.
lot of things like that. And I mean, the
Yeah.
potential is getting there.
Yeah,
It's-
for
to,
sure.
to touch on that a bit, I saw Red Monster did like also a big like
Mhm.
Idris mining thing.
It's so
and he
great.
went,
If
It's so cool.
1500.
yeah,
Uh,
52
SEO.
days for a for a dynamic solventation. He's like,
Yeah.
let's let's cut this down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
we
Like,
saw
cut
that
the
video and we decided we were going to do it in batches with a raft.
Yeah.
There's also
So-
you don't have to stress about that. I don't think like they're aware of it being that
Mhm.
way. At that German bar citizen thing,
Yeah,
Con
yeah.
42, Torsten was like, yeah, we're gonna be looking at that because
Yeah, yeah.
obviously now that these changes have come in, we recognize that you want to do these big orders.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and you want to
Yeah,
be able to
But we
like
also
Well,
don't want you to have
out.
to wait 52 days for you to get your
exactly.
money.
So
Yeah.
whatever this is at least how our org is going about it. Whatever you're trying to figure out about like the way you want to do things, just assume that big orders are going to be able to be done. Don't change it
Mhm.
too much in the
Yeah.
long term, like whatever your plans are going on, because we're certainly not, because big orders are just always going to be way more efficient. Like I'm pretty sure
Yep.
it's going to be very similar to how it sort of works now, but just like better, where like as the stuff is being refined, it'll just end up in your inventory as it goes. So even if it
Like an
is
auto
52
delivery
days,
type thing.
yeah. So like even if it
Yeah.
is 52 days, like you'll be able to like
You'll get some
collect
of
it as it's going or something. Like I don't think it should be 52
Yeah.
days, but yeah. So
I,
Yep.
I'm not going to throw the hopium that just came to my head in here, but
go for it. Go for it. I have my
Yeah.
biosuit on.
different
I am wearing
Um,
yellow.
different processes for different materials.
That would be nice.
So
Yeah.
when you're setting up your orders, you can divvy it out into, okay, so this one needs to be at Dynex, this one needs to be at yada yada, you know?
Yeah, less
That
about
way-
time and money and
More
more
about
about like getting
how
the
it
purest
gets
of
done.
yeah.
Yeah.
The process. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping
I don't
for.
think that's too hopium. We know
Yeah.
that they want to change the system a bit for crafting,
Yep.
and that's something that we've suggested before, is like using the processes to mess around a bit more with your purity rather than
Yeah,
like
getting
the time that it
bonuses
takes
and
for something to
stuff.
get. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've talked about catalysts and stuff that we're supposed to be able to
Mhm.
use during refining to be able to adjust those. Yeah, it's all up in the air still. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But all right,
But
Teach,
yeah.
it sounded like you were done. Obviously don't want to cut you off, but
No,
Anything
you're
else?
good. Yeah, that was it. I want to see the other callers' stuff too, and I want to hear what they got to say. So, you guys have a good one. It's always been a pleasure, and we'll hopefully catch you next week. But if not, then soon.
all right, brother. Talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Cheers again for the call, Matt.
Yeah, man.
See ya.
Bye now. All right, and then that was Teach. We're moving on to Jedi next. Jedi Menace. Can you hear us?
How you doing, Jedi Menace? You are in here. You are currently muted.
Jedi Menace going once.
Yeah.
I hear him.
Yeah,
Howdy.
I can hear you.
He's a
there's
regular,
little
so-
delay, sorry about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we know he's a regular. You're a
No,
regular.
first
We know
time
you
calling,
figured it
first
out.
time calling.
Yeah, sure. Nice try.
How you all doing?
Good. How are you?
I just want to talk about how I envision Blades to have been working, and this is what I wish CIG would have done. I understand they're trying to make money, so they're selling it on the shop, but they
Mhm.
shouldn't have bundled it with the skins.
Yeah.
And
I'll say
have
that
it
is
act-
one of the problems with it, but yes.
Yeah.
Big one.
Right? Because one of the things I see was Blades could have been a good form of money sink in the game.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, or
You need
time
money
or
sinks
whatever.
for the economy.
Yeah.
Right? So one, it wouldn't be covered by warranty, any class of warranty, level of warranty. So if your ship get destroyed or whatever, you have to
Uh-oh, we might have lost him.
You there?
and the blades would be one of those things. So when you ship, hello,
Yeah, hold on.
hello,
Yeah, you
like,
dropped out for
dropped
for,
out
like,
when
a
you
big
talk
part of
about-
what you were saying.
Yeah, so we want you to like go
my
back to where you were. It just cut out for a second. But before we do that, it gives me a good opportunity to jump in. Unfortunately,
Okay.
like the like not covered under warranty thing isn't true. Like this is one of the worst parts about the insurance that they showed us at CitizenCon. If you have a warranty on your ship and you buy the level 3 insurance, you get everything back. Everything. So
right. I understand. I
yeah.
understand what you're saying, but as I said, it would be good to have some exceptions. So even with the tier 3 warranty
Agreed.
that covers not just components, but little additions you put on the ship, blades would be excluded in that list. So that if your ship get destroyed, you have to replace the blade. So that would be a form of a money thing.
Like
The other
rigs
thing
and
is,
Eve, I guess, Croncy, right?
right? So the
Yeah.
blades also can't be repaired. So while you're in combat and it takes damage, you will eventually have to replace it.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if it could be crafted or not, that could be determined later on. But if you loot the blades, I mean, it could be partially damaged, so it may not last as long as a new blade and stuff like that. And so when you're buying it in the in-game shop, you know, instead of having it ship specific, because I find that makes the whole thing a little cluttersome and thing, split it by both manufacturer and size. So all the Crusader small ships could use this blade. If you want to use it in multiple ships, you have to either take it out of one and put it the other, or buy multiple of them. Instead of having to have one specifically for this ship and one specifically for that ship. I mean, even at least if you're going to go by ship, I have all the variants covered, because I don't see the purpose of having a separate one for the C8X and the C8R.
Yeah, it's silly.
That makes no sense.
I agree
So
on
it's
that. The thing that I
Yeah.
struggle with a little bit is like this is just like another component, and it's acting entirely differently than a power plant. It's a bit odd. And you're also, again, we can't ignore the fact that like this is just maneuverability and speed blades, and they said they have intentions of making more.
Yeah.
And so now there are 200 plus ships in the game, and now you have to have an individual blade for each of them. We're talking about adding potentially thousands of new items to the game, and then across the entire game world, amongst all the players, potentially millions of items in the game. Why?
Yeah, it's going to that listing is going to get very cluttersome.
Yeah, just like bloated, cluttered, just dumb. That's me though.
Yeah. So
maybe. Like it depends. I would be more concerned about the fact that it's a lot of balancing that has to be done really quickly.
Yeah, we have database problems now. And they're just like adding to them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's just all I really was thinking about when it comes to the blades and stuff. The stuff you all was talking about with the Evocati, like, I mean, because I always been wishing for them to resolve being able to load vehicles in the freight elevator, because having to pull it to the, because sometimes even when you pull it to the side and you send down the elevator, it doesn't happen often, but sometimes the vehicle disappears. So now you're like, oh crap, I didn't claim it over, bring it back up and do this over again. It's rare that it happens, but it's still a nuisance to do that, especially with the length of time for the elevator to go down and come back up.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for calling in.
I'll leave it to other people so they could get in on the call.
Sure.
Perfect.
No
worries.
Dude.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you, Jedi. What is going on this week? Are you noticing this weird trend that the week that we actually want people to go long, everyone is going short? The only time in the history of Croncy and I being here did we want people to be a little bit more long-winded potentially, because we wanted to extend it to Drake because we think that there could be some interesting news. This is the first time that people are like, all right, I'll just take a couple minutes. I was like, what is going on?
They're extra polite this week. Honestly, I think the actual answer
Appreciate
is
you guys.
because the big news this week is Evo. Not everyone has access to Evo.
100%,
So there's not much that people can give their opinion on based on just us trying to exposition what we saw.
If there was no Evo this week, the show would be over already. Like there would just be like nothing to talk about.
We would not have gotten 2 hours out of ship talk for sure.
for sure. So yeah, but yeah, it's just I just find it funny. It's like the first time that people are like, oh yeah, just thinking about the people behind me. Where like most people are just going like, oh, well, we could do this, we could do that, and they go on forever. So yeah, it's kind of funny. But all right, we'll bring in our next caller, Twice Fun. Hello, Twice Fun.
How you doing, Twice Fun? Twice Fun.
I heard something.
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
Yeah, doing good.
Do you hear me well?
We hear you.
Yep.
You hearing us?
On the calls, right? Yeah, I'm hearing you quite well. I think I'm closed the stream, so that's good. I'm on a train actually, going back from some Pokemon TCG championship in Poland. So
Oh,
if,
nice.
Hell yeah,
if I
nice.
get I'm sorry.
I wonder if you
That's
know
gonna
my
be on me.
friend.
I'm a first-time caller, actually. Which one? Tell me.
I think he won the world championship in 2003. His name's Alex. I don't know. He's a
Damn.
Pokemon TCG world champion. He's a literal world champion.
Mike's so old, guys. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I think it was 2003.
I was like 10 then.
I was
Like,
9.
I'm
I was
not
9
even
in
sure.
2003.
It may not have been 2003. I'll have to text him because he's younger than me. So I don't know. But yeah, he's
Anyway, his
the
name
world
is
champion.
Doyle
the big
Brunson,
one.
and he won the Pokemon tournament.
And he's literally
Okay.
dead. But yeah, my friend's a TCG world champion. Now he's trying some other game. That Disney TCG game. He's trying to be good at that.
Lorcana. Yeah, that's
Lorcana,
cool.
yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
So anyway, no worries.
My bad.
So Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hoped I won't be a short caller. I have like 3 A5 pages of notes for me. There are people coming into the train, so I'm not sure if I'll be having some peace time. But anyway,
Ask
I'm
them
loving
their
the
opinions on the
content.
blades.
I actually did. I have a point about that as well.
Okay.
Maybe not the people in the train, but in general, yeah. So definitely, I'm loving the content. I listen your content for work and for sleep. And if you think that hey, we are boring, you're definitely not. But there is a cool book from Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep. It's an Australian actually guy, I think. That in the first pages of the book he says like, if you're reading this book and you fall asleep, that's good because you will remember more. So keep that in mind, okay? So I wanted to give you like 3 hot takes from my side
Sure.
in regards to Flight Blaze and also kind of related to Flight Blade's hot take, let's say. But I just wanted to give a quick summary from my perspective of who am I, because I think that might give you some information of, okay, maybe why is he coming from this direction, or maybe you think of a question that you have for me, right? So I have 12 years in IT. I started as a functional tester, a web tester, moved through like backend API automation testing and coordinating release branches. Now I'm a business analyst and getting requirements, talking to stakeholders and stuff like that. And to some extent, I understand the process of development, right? Like setting up the environments, needing to work like additional hours on the weekends before big releases, the process of development in general. If you want to, I wrote it down because there was this CitizenCon situation drama, right? That happened half a year ago, and you can ask me questions about this. How do I feel about that as well? And in general, as for my gaming experience, obviously I started on like a Game Boy Pocket with my Pokemon under the bedsheets, and for 25 plus years, I've played and experienced many different genres of games, like. I can give a few examples like Airfix Dodge Fighter, The Division, Scavengers, Guitar Hero, Dungeon Burst, Subnautica, all those different things, like in general genres of MMO, survival, battle royale, extraction shooters, cooperative games, artists, music, chill, and more, right? So I'm an average Star Citizen player. I'm being in touch with all the content being created, right? I don't have access to Evo, as you guys just said, that there is like this probably a quite niche thing, right? I'm not reviewing Spectrum that much. I'm not big in like workplace. So yeah, I started in 2022, like 3 years ago, with an Avenger Titan, and but I heard about the project in like 2015, 16, something like that, from my colleague at work. So I have a few ships, nothing bigger than like $150 or even less. I think the C1 is the biggest one I have. And obviously all my takes are subjective, right? We have some information that we gather and we process them in our minds, and then this is what we think about it. So now going to the hot takes, I will maybe present all those 3 at once and then go deeply into it. So first of all, you're gonna love this one. Flight Blades are not that different from some battle passes.
Okay. I haven't played too many games with battle passes, to be honest, because I fucking hate them.
I think they're quite different from battle passes, because the concept of a battle pass is you play the game and you unlock things, right? and it
Yeah,
costs.
in some ways, I'll
and
explain
you-
it in a moment.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So the other one is like that design flows are not design flows are more fear-inducing than bugs or pledge store decisions. That's the second one. And the third
Sure.
one on my side is like feeling of progress is more important than gameplay or features.
Yes,
Sure.
it is
So-
the gameplay.
I think
to
that.
me,
Well,
but
I think
yeah.
that last one's less of a hot take. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
just
exactly. Yeah, that's it. So in terms of flight blades, I'm comparing this to battle buses. That was the first thing that came into my mind that when I was reviewing this topic is that, for example, in Call of Duty, you have those battle passes with some skins at certain points, and if you don't pay the premium one, then you don't get those skins. You get only the free items, right? And
Yeah.
then if you are at some low level account, then once you get the skin, it comes with some attachments to those weapons. So you could say that if you pay for the battle pass and you progress in that game, you basically have an advantage over the people that are on the same level but didn't buy the premium battle pass, right?
Of course.
So
I see where you're coming from.
So
Right. Okay.
you still
So
yes.
they're
So you still
similar,
want
not
you still,
they're not similar mechanically. They're similar
Yeah.
in like the result, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's like this game, The Bazaar. It's about like
Yeah.
backpack thing.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
It's awesome actually, but
The guy who made it was like a
the
legendary Twitch
DLC
streamer, like one of the legends of Twitch. But yeah.
Rainers. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy actually.
Yep.
So there are some DLCs. It's a fresh game, but there is like also a battle pass, and there are DLCs at certain points of the season ranks, and you unlock them as like the expansion of your game, right? But if you don't have the season pass, you don't unlock them. However, at the end of the season, it is unlocked for everybody. You don't have to pay for it. You just have
Interesting.
it. And
So
yeah, it's an interesting concept.
There's a term that comes around in Star Citizen a lot, which is like what the pay for convenience or like pay for well, basically pay for early access, right? And that's essentially what that battle pass is what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think
Okay.
flight blades are a little bit of that as well, right? When we think about in general whole Star Citizens, but I'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
and actually those DLCs might not get you better in that game. Why? Because there are some item like you're expanding the pool of items that you can get, and this results in you actually being worse at some shops or events that you attend, because you maybe don't want to have this item, right? You maybe want a completely different item, and this is not from this DLC, so it might not make you better in a way. And just want you to keep that in mind. So I think the flight blades are maybe I'll go into a different approach here. Like not everything is sold on the pledge store, right? I think that's an exaggeration from your side, Mike, that I heard a lot of this week. And it is not. Like you don't have components of ships being sold on the store, and I don't think you will. I know that you will just say here in a moment that maybe in the future we'll have it, right?
No, it's happening right now, and I'll bring it up. It was one sale thing, the 300i thing, but they dropped it because they couldn't scale it. But
Okay.
yeah, it's the it happens, and it will happen if they can if you bought the flight blades like crazy, it would have continued to happen.
Yeah, because flight blades are components. Like that was one reason as well that I was like,
Yeah, flight blades are. Yeah.
Flight blades are
Definitely, but I'm
components. So
talking about different components.
No, I understand, but like
but
it
I'm
starts
not saying
somewhere,
everything.
right? They're not going to launch all of the like if they were going to plan to do it, they would not launch all of them at once. I would imagine they would not launch every single item all at 1 second.
Yeah, and it's like a strategy that we could foresee or fear that it will fulfill itself, right? When they're getting more and more such components or items on the pledge store. Yeah, and that's actually getting back to that asking people around, right? I did some survey. Obviously, it's my environment that I'm connected with, but I would say that 70% to 30% of people actually said flight blades are not that bad since that's why I'm coming with that hot take as well. And I tried to explain the Star Citizen in general to them as much as I could, but it's a big one, right? We discuss it every week. You discuss it every week, and it's hard to do. But they said actually that they are not that bad, and with that thing in mind. I think it's a communication and marketing failure the most. It's not, and there is this fear of like, if they did it here, then maybe they will do it also in the future for other items, components, and stuff like that. I think that, for example, for skins for weapons, I think this will change. I'm not sure if you have the knowledge. You definitely have much more knowledge than I do. But in general, if CIG has ever told us that the skins for weapons, for example, they will no longer be weapons themselves, but just skins.
I hope
I just
so,
want to touch on something you said.
but
You said that like
they're not happening.
you said a lot of people don't think it's that big of a deal, or like a lot of people don't hate the thing. I just want to know where this is coming from. Who is saying this? Because this is the first time that I have really seen the community.
Did you say
this,
gamers?
like
Yeah.
the community has
I agree with
never
you.
been this on board about any decision CIG have ever made, except for maybe like the OG Kickstarter. But there's obviously a lot more people playing now. Like this is overwhelmingly, once again, this is technically anecdotal
Yeah,
because
true.
we don't have like stats for this.
Twice.
I have
can
never
you
seen
see,
this much outrage before.
Can you see the stream through Discord?
Yes.
We're sharing the screen. Here you go, buddy.
I see that.
Weapons, missiles, quantum drives, shield generators, coolers, and power plants, all customly sold through the store, going up in price.
I understand that there are some components.
Okay. And that's okay.
No. I'm saying that I think that the exaggeration that they sell everything is an exaggeration, right? I understand that there are some components or parts of the game that they sell, and flight blades are might be a step in the wrong direction. I'm just saying that they sell everything on the store page is an exaggeration, and that's it.
Okay, but when you can list more of what they don't sell than what they do, is the exaggeration a problem worth bringing up? I'm not going to deny that it's an exaggeration. Of course it is. But
Okay.
It's an exaggeration that's
what's
fine,
the point of
right?
the exaggeration? Is to say that like this is bad, dude.
But as well as like
bad situation.
you can buy everything that matters. Like the idea of pretty much every video game, right, is to have an experience, grow through that experience, gain some level of progression. Thank you, and go through that. The game right now, the progression really is just reputation and ships. Now, obviously, you can't buy reputation, but there's not enough rewards in reputation right now to matter. And then the other one is ships. You can buy ships. So it's like, that's the problem, right? The thing that I have always seen in the future that like gets around this, because I've always had a problem with the fact that ships have been available, but in the back of my mind, I've always been like, that's not the end game. There will be more progression in the future. That was going to come around with components, with crafting, that sort of stuff. And then they sold something that should be that. Right? That's where it would like really hurt me of like, no, this is messed up, because the thing that made me be okay with the fact that they were selling ships is now also up for grabs. Right?
Mm. And I think
yeah, go ahead.
And I think it's not so bad is like they literally sold something that doesn't do that much too, which is like just another testament to just how stupid they think we are. Like just how they know they can get away with it, right? And then people go, it's okay. It's okay because they don't do anything. And then people are literally giving them money for something that doesn't do anything. So like it's just perpetuating the thing of like, you're an idiot. Because people are because people well go look at a mobile video game. Why do people spend money on that? because it's very easy. I worked in a casino for 15 years, man. It's very easy to get addicted to shit. Humans are inherently get addicted to things, right? And it is the dopamine of having that thing and using it and buying it and trying it. Like, it doesn't even matter if it did anything. Like,
yeah, and feeling FOMO, for example, like somebody else
exactly.
have it and I don't, right? Somebody else experience it and I don't, right? So
Exactly.
there are multiple reasons why they are buying those things, and then they are realizing that, for example, this is not doing that much. And actually, that was an argument that convinced some of those people that once I
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
For being on the train, it's like actually like solid call quality.
really peaceful.
It's because
Yeah.
it's because
So
it's a
yeah,
good
yeah, for
European
now.
train, Mike. None of the
Yeah,
none of the stuff
exactly.
over
In
your
an
way.
American train, it would not. Guys, I'm taking a 30-hour train to New Jersey next month, and
Whoa.
yeah, the last time a guy was playing on a PSP that the thing inside, like the little CD inside, was squeaking
Yeah.
the entire night while he was playing. Literally like
Lovely.
screeching right next
Well,
to
yeah,
me.
it's 20 years old.
Exactly, but it was still playing. So whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Twice.
Yes.
Yep.
No worries. So basically, I was saying that with that argument that they don't change much. Some of the people that I surveyed were like, okay, if that doesn't do much, then I don't care if it's sold, right? So that's actually a counter argument of how good or bad that is on the pledge store. And I think that, like I was saying before, this is like a communication and marketing failure, because when I surveyed my anecdotal environment, right, I was like layering this. And at some point I was like, okay, but if those things were actually in the game in 2 or 3 months, what would you say? Would it be bad or not? And I think that there's like a big aspect of pledging in general, not only for SC, but also for other things, that is like a token of and paying for other things as well, like subscriptions and games, digital ones that we don't want to obtain in a certain bay or whatever. Then you appreciate those things because of that. Actually, Tim Sweeney on a podcast with Lex Friedman recently said that as well. That the digital world created with the Epic Game Store and Steam and stuff like this was actually influenced because people want to appreciate those games. And obviously, do we want to appreciate the Star Citizen? That's a whole other discussion, and especially Flight Blades. And I don't think we should, but I don't think we should exaggerate it to that point that it is that's so much bad. I think we should be like, okay, let's watch it and see where will it lead CIG and what other steps they will take to maybe cross some line that we actually don't. And I definitely agree with you, Croncy, on that one, that the Star Citizen community is very united on this topic. And I think it also is because of the streamers and YouTubers and people that are very much bloating it up to that point of like, okay, yeah, this is actually bad. But if you get into the details, into
I would normally agree.
0.03 or 33
Yeah.
milliseconds of a difference for 3 meters on Aegis Gladius.
Okay,
That's
like,
okay,
guys,
I don't
dude,
care.
it's
we
also-
can't
okay,
do this. The stats aren't locked in. We can't do this. Stats aren't locked in at all. And number one, there was nobody streaming but me and a couple other people at the moment that these Flight Blades went down, and the whole of Spectrum went nuts. That had nothing to do with me covering it or Knebel covering it or anything like that. Like, there's no way you could just do just blame content creators on the outrage of this. That is not
especially
fair.
when so much of the Star Citizen community
Normally, I would
really
agree.
dislikes
Normally,
all this
I would
stuff.
agree. This situation is vehemently different than any other situations around this. That one's not fair. In other situations,
also-
I would agree with you, just to be perfectly fair. But this one,
also-
I do not.
If it was that case, you would have seen the same sort of thing that happens in other situations where there has been disagreements with things CIG have done, where there is a like
More
the creators don't agree.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone everyone agrees. Once again, not actually everyone. That is an
Everyone but
exaggeration.
Captain Foxy Loxy right now. That's about it.
the like, think of it this way: it is more a response to the community than it is a community's response to creators, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
like
for
I
once,
was
we're
getting,
covering the community,
yeah,
instead of the other way around.
yeah. I was getting tagged messages from just people in the community telling me how shit it was because I had been asleep. It was like happened at like 4 a.m. I don't wake up till like 5 p.m. That's a different story. But like people were saying to me, "Hey, this is messed up." Yeah. But I was like, "This is messed." Everyone was telling me this was messed up. I think it is an oversimplification saying that has been blown out of proportion. I understand all the points you're coming from, but I don't think it diminishes the severity of what this was and why we still need to continue to give uproars when we have complaints. If it happens again, I want you on the podcast also telling us what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
I don't mean specifically this. I mean, like, I do want pushback. I do want those opinions from the other sides. Because I also want CIG to see that.
Yeah. But like
to wrap this up, maybe.
But just before you do, like to get again on the whole content creator thing, it may sound like I'm being defensive about this, but like it doesn't really matter how it sounds. So like the truth is the truth. At the time the blades dropped, I like went back in my stats and looked. I think I had about 400 people watching. Within 15 minutes of the blades dropping, I had over 1,000 people watching my stream looking at a Spectrum post. Not because I was looking at a Spectrum post, but because people who have been around the community forever were like, this is bullshit. Holy shit. I wonder what he's saying. Because I know that he's going to be just as mad as I am. Like, again, the content creators blowing this thing up, brother, it was nuclear before any of us even noticed it.
At the beginning. Yeah. Well, yeah, I definitely stand corrected. I had this. I didn't have this knowledge that much. I tried to look into the content since the day one. I think I watched you when it happened, even Mike. So
the stream
maybe I'm trying to push my perspective too much, right? So no worries. I stand corrected again, and sorry.
I mean, you're entitled to yours.
Exactly.
Yep.
We don't take calls for people to just be like, "Hey, I agree with you guys."
Yeah.
Sure. To wrap this flight blades maybe a little bit, so I think that our wallets.
We'll also finish the call here too. So
yes. So our wallets are the most powerful weapon, and if you don't feel like this is the right thing, I will give an example that you probably might know from my comments from your stream as well. That I think, and this is one of the points from the other two hot takes that maybe I will have the opportunity to go into on other calls. But basically, I didn't buy the Vulture, even though I love salvaging a lot, right? But I think that having it behind the paywall for over a freaking year, and being the only ship that can salvage at that point, it's
horrible,
right? It's something much horrible than the flight blades, in my opinion, right?
I agree.
And even though it is right now available in the game, I also want to progress to get it instead of melting my other ships and buying the Vulture and having it day one after the wipe happens or something. And I think that if the CIG makes some right decisions, definitely appreciate those. And if you feel like it, that's okay. Your wallet could be used for that. But if you don't agree, I think that's the most powerful tool that we can use to actually stop them from doing those.
100%. Yep, definitely.
Sounds good. Well,
that was an awesome
enjoy
call.
the rest of your train.
Yeah, that was a great call.
Thanks
for calling in, man.
Yeah, and again, no hard feelings or anything.
One
Obviously,
sentence.
we can disagree and all that stuff, and hopefully everybody's cool after. I'm cool with
one
you.
more sentence, but real quick.
If I could squeeze this one. I believe in this project, but they make me feel sometimes that I really would like to believe in this project, and I think that's a huge difference.
Yes. Very good way of saying that.
The key, even though even though they are doing a lot of communication, is the way they will do it that will make me believe in this project and not really want to believe in it.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you.
Yep.
Keep up the good work. I love the content again. And,
Thank you.
yeah. Hear you next time. Hopefully.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome.
Of course.
Thanks again for the call, man.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Especially thank you for that last comment, because that people
Yeah.
say why don't you quit? For exactly the reason that he said at the end. I want to believe in it.
I also I like it. Like I can hate stuff and like things at the same time. I'm not one dimensional.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna bring in Draz here. I don't know how many more we're gonna get to. It might stop at Draz. We'll see.
All right then, what's up, guys?
Draz, how you doing?
Hey, so this is my second time calling you guys. Last time was at CitizenCon.
Oh wow, welcome.
Sorry, I have a baby in my arms.
The baby's calling as well.
What he or
special
she
guest.
think of the flight blades? Agree? Disagree?
Yeah, I don't know. I think when I was watching that video, she took a big dump. So that's
Perfect.
all you need to know.
I think we know then. Yeah. Agree.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, a little background on me. I've backed the game since before there was a Kickstarter, when it was just like the little web store. So I've been here for the whole ride.
The whole thing before me.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit, like, obviously, about the monetization and flight blades. But I think I want to kind of talk about it from the context of debt, right? Like they talked a lot about tech debt at CitizenCon, which I think was a good thing, right? Like they communicated really well about that. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. But what they haven't really gone into is more or less how like their pledge debt has affected them and how they plan to tackle that. And I think that's really frustrating to see.
Yes.
Yeah. So after almost 13 years now, right? So like they have done almost no communicating about it. And then I think like the big kicker that really like kind of clued me into this was when they started doing like the Mark II and then some of the like reworks, but not reworks, right? Like the Starlancer is basically a reworked Freelancer, right? And it's upsized and more modern.
Let's make a big Freelancer.
Yeah.
That's what they sat down in a meeting and said, let's make a big Freelancer, and did it.
Yeah, and that's I understand, like all their motivation goes into doing that instead of reworking ships, because no one's gonna like, people already own those ships, right? They can't sell them to people who already have them. So I get that, but they still, in my opinion, like the biggest glaring thing from like a longtime backer perspective is like, why are you not communicating about the plan for the ships that currently exist? Like the Constellation is like another, I think, obvious example.
Yeah,
it's a really popular ship. It's iconic to the game. You know, it's an RSI ship, and there's no talks about reworking it at all. Period. Dot.
No, and I take a similar like frustration, but in a different way, is that like every insurance choice, every choice around the flight blades, every choice around these things are based on the like there are gameplay decisions being made based on the fact that things are purchased on the store. So like you said about their store debt is causing the game to just be less good because they made decisions like these. It's very, very, very frustrating.
It's also really confusing when they choose to just continuously add to that like tech debt, right? Like they could be like tackling reworks. Like I think the Hornet was actually really cool in that they went back and like did update it a little bit when they did the Mark II. But like I think the thing that like Invictus, for example, that really like head scratched me was the Grey Cat MTC. Because there's concept ships that fill that role that they could have put out and gotten off the backlog.
No, so this I'll fight for. Not fight for, but guys, I hate CIG. This one I'll push against. The MTC was almost certainly an onboarding task, all the way from art through concept through to production. Stuff like that happens usually once or twice a year with new designers. I think that is completely reasonable. I think that's okay. What I will say, in terms of like, they've got a lot of rework debt. Like they've talked about regular ship debt of just ships that haven't come out yet that have been.
I'm here listening. Forever. I'm gonna pee. Sorry.
Yeah. And they've started doing those, right? We've seen the Polaris, the Perseus is being worked on, and so on. But yeah, now like there's a lot of ships that have been left on the wayside. I think it is a either or unless they get another ship team at this point, because like you either work on those old ships to bring them out, which is obviously going to sell stuff, which you kind of mentioned, right? Like that's going to be positive money for them in the short term at the very least. Or you do all the old stuff and you don't sell any ships. I would like to see them do more reworks for sure, regardless of what they've done here. I don't think, for example, we needed to see the Idris out this year, and possibly there was some time they could have dedicated to doing the Idris to some other stuff, whether it is ship debt or, I mean, should we just coin the term rework debt at this point?
No, because I think
like old
concepts are still
ships.
part of that.
Yeah.
Part of the conversation, right?
Yeah,
Because there's a
getting
lot of
concepts
concept
done
ships.
is important. Yeah.
Yeah, like they need to clear the backlog of like stuff that is either in the game but not working the way it's supposed to in terms of just for ships, we'll say, and the stuff that isn't in the game that they have sold to people, right? That all needs to be addressed. They kind of address some of the concepts where they're like, hey, this just isn't going to be in 1.0, and I think that's okay. But what isn't okay is like, for example, the Crusader Millennium Falcon. What the hell is it called? The Star Runner.
Yeah,
the
MSR.
MSR. That is supposed to be a data running ship, right? Same with the Drake Herald, but there's like zero conversation about data running. It wasn't even on the sitcom slide.
Yeah, there was when the MSR came out, and then
of course because they want to sell it.
Yeah, and then but with this specifically, they then canned hacking and data running, which was originally on the plan for later, just generally later, right?
Right, but that's not like openly communicated, right? Like you might know that because you guys like kind of make
obsessed.
You know, you have a vested interest in this, right? So like you dig deep, but like their communication around all of this stuff is just like non-existent.
Yeah, agreed. It's not good. It's not good, and you know what? I believe that their communication internally is just as bad, and that's why externally it comes to us.
Exactly what I want to talk about.
Yeah,
like I agree in that like everybody knows management in CIG is like not great, just overall, right? We don't have a game after 13
certainly
years,
never
almost.
felt great.
Yeah, so like it shouldn't shock anybody, but like it was kind of interesting to see what they had communicated about last year and like nailed down like, hey, 1.0 will be XYZ. Great. But there's still like what I was getting at is that like there's just a lot of unanswered questions, and I'm talking about ships to illustrate that. I do want to fight you back, Croncy, a little bit on like the onboarding people with new projects. I think that's kind of horseshit because it's inefficient because you're not conquering your backlog at all, and you're introducing more bloat to the game, and you can still like train those people up on older concepts because half those things need to change anyway.
So what is an example?
I do
what is
understand.
An example for the very specific example of the MTC? What is an example of a ship, vehicle? Sorry, that
the Origin G12 I think is an easy one.
All right, so in that example, they now have to, instead of being able to get a lot of freedom in terms of how they want to design that vehicle, they now have to learn the entire Origin design language when they first start. Literally when they start and they start making ships, they have to learn that entire series, talk to all of the designers that have been working with that, rather than do something that is likely a very short task as well. I want to point out a lot of these ones are only made within a few months. If you watch them, if you read through the monthly reports, that's roughly when they start popping up. And obviously, there might be more work done before that, but that seems to be the case. I think the example that you've used isn't great because it's just not a lot of work that gets done there in the first place. The stuff that you are talking about needs to be more looked at by the teams that are doing all of these other large ships. They can pump that stuff out.
I mean,
I
okay,
don't know.
fair enough. I'll concede that point because I want to move on. But
in the end,
get
the fucking backlog out.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, which they are. They are. But I'm saying, I'm still agreeing, though, that I think there should be more effort to get more reworks done at the same time.
Agreed. And I believe that reworks will still sell to the litany of new people that have shown up over the years versus the ones that have purchased them a while ago when they were new and cool. So like
Yeah.
reworks are not as bad, I don't think, as they may think that they would be. Like a reworks Connie would legitimately sell.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
I
Right?
agree. Like it won't sell as much as a brand new ship, right? Because all your old backers will want to buy that too, in theory, right? Like you have more of an audience to sell to, but it's not fruitless to rework old ships.
Yeah. Yeah. There's certainly still value to it.
Yeah, so I would like to see obviously some sort of communication about that, but people in hell want ice water. The reason, again, we're still talking about money is like at some point the funding model probably needs to change. I think everybody
Mm-hmm.
besides CIG recognizes that at this point.
How can it?
Because that's a great question. I
Well,
don't know. I have no
can't.
fucking idea.
Once again, you can say the funding model can change, but they can still sell all the same stuff by making the game slightly different, right? So you can still sell
Correct.
ships, but the like you're just buying, once again, like what I would want it to be, the crappy tier 1 garbage component ships. I can still play the game and get all the better stuff. That is kind of a different funding model because right now you just have the ships, period.
Yeah, I think insurance really needs like to be changed, right, based on like what they talked about. Like they need to address that with that. And I think that's okay if they go and like, hey, sorry, we said this last year at CitizenCon, we're going to change it for the game. I think most people would be fine about that. I'm sure a lot of whales would cry about it, but who cares?
Yeah.
Right? Whales aren't the people you need to attract to the game. They're already here. Like at some point, 1.0 is going to come out and you need to bring in new blood. And you're not going to do that with the way the game is currently funded and monetized.
That's been my argument. But the problem with the current, like the way that they're currently funding it is like that funding will extend into 1.0. Everything that you've done up to this point will affect 1.0, and it just sucks. And
yeah, I really was hoping that they would.
Yeah, it's horrible. I agree.
Yeah, I was really hoping that like the conversation around blueprints would basically be like, all right, you're gonna get one of all your pledge things once you start, and then you get the ability to craft it later.
Yeah,
it would have been so much better if that was the case.
It would have been so much better. But yeah, I think the last piece of this I want to talk about is like, yeah, obviously like the conversation has been about funding, but I think like being a backer for so long, one of my big fears.
Yeah.
Sorry.
One
of my big fears is that like they're going to release Squadron and then immediately go into production for episode 2, and they're never going to release Star Citizen. They're just going to keep pumping money into Squadrons.
It depends on how well it
even
does,
if that game is wildly successful. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Even if the game is wildly successful, which I think it might be, like it looks really good, but even if it's wildly successful, I doubt it makes enough money to fund the continuation of Star Citizen and another single-player game without encroaching on one or the other.
Yeah.
So I hear people bring up this point a couple of times of like that their concerns with Squadron's release in terms of like, will it ever stop or will they just keep doing more Squadrons? My pushback against that is CRG may be mismanaged. They're not stupid. They know that like Star Citizen makes the most money, right? And will continue to. A single player game typically cannot continue to make more money. You can't keep like going to that well, right?
They can
and there's
be
only
smart
so
about
much
some things and stupid about others. I think they're pretty fucking stupid.
Sure.
But yeah, they're also very smart.
There is only so much money you can make from sequels that is like consistent, right? The way that I see Squadron release being is more like, here is an advertisement for us to turn you into a whale in Star Citizen. And I think that's where they're going to try to, as long as Squadron is successful, that's where they'll try to funnel people. I do think they will still work on a sequel. Sorry, just to finish. I do still think they will go for a sequel, but I don't think they're going to be putting anywhere near the amount of resources they have over the last 10 years into a sequel.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. And I also think that, like, obviously when they release, they have a foundation to build upon. And I also agree that, like, kind of the original idea of Squadron was to funnel people into Star Citizen, right? Like, I can't remember the details specifically.
Like when you finished, you gained an advantage in the actual
you get, like,
MMO and
citizenship.
stuff. Yeah, so 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the gunship. The conversation around gunships in this game amuses me, because like the gameplay isn't there. But also for background, I flew on AC-130 gunships in real life for 4 years.
Badass.
And so, like, what people think the gunship should be is obviously it can be its own thing in Star Citizen. This isn't real life, but I think they're making things to mirror real life mission sets, right? Like bombers and air dominance fighters and all that stuff. But like, I never really got why they added gunships in the game in the first place, because you can't. There's not even gameplay or the systems to support like what you would need it for, because every ship can, like, the purpose of a gunship is to just like keep guns on a target for as long as you can. That's really hard to do in real life because fighters have to go zoom.
Yeah.
But gunships can just orbit, right?
Gunships always felt like helicopters to me.
Well, so helicopter gunships do exist, but their mission set is the same. They can hover and keep the gun on the target, right?
Yeah.
Or fly slow enough to keep the gun on the target.
Think like
Same concept, different
Redeemer
approach.
above a bunker. I feel like that's always been like, all right, that's a gunship to me. That's like, just as somebody who has no understanding of like how it is in real life, it was just like,
I think that's a close enough analogy, right? Like, yeah, you're in the air over a target supporting ground parties.
Yep,
taking out the mission, turrets, right? And you're trying to do that efficiently.
Yep.
Yeah,
shooting at things that are more static, right?
Exactly. The problem with that is like gunships really only work in asymmetric warfare, which is where like you have essentially air superiority and there's no ground threats that like can shoot back. And I think currently like that there's just kind of no real need or role for that, because like people have railguns so they can always shoot you down.
Yeah.
You know, they're putting in anti-aircraft stuff, which is cool. I want to see all that. But also like every ship can do the same job, like can do that job.
Every ship has
until
guns,
like they get atmospheric flight that like maybe forces people to fly forward instead of hover. Cool. Maybe we'll see that, because then like an orbiting Star Lancer tech could be cool.
Yes.
But
yeah. But until
it's just interesting to see like people argue over something that doesn't matter so much right now. You know,
in
like
Star Citizen, never.
Like the Paladin especially, I think is like, all right, whatever. Anyway,
this whole podcast was meant. Well, the Paladin arguments were, yo, you're power creeping. It's just like the flight blades. Don't power creep. Make the game. You didn't even sell. You haven't even made the gameplay for the ship that's in there, and you're already saying that this one's better than it. Like, stop. Like, that's what the Paladin stuff was. But but I think that's where we got to leave it, because we're already way over time.
Hey, thanks guys, I appreciate it. Sorry about the baby noises.
No.
It was good times.
Thank you so much
it was
for the
good.
call.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it a ton, mate.
All right, good to talk to you again.
Catch you later, Dress. Thank you.
Mate.
So
you just had to talk about short calls, Mike.
I know.
We had two great, two really good, but long calls.
So we're sorry for the other people waiting in line, but we thought we were going to be able to get to everybody because it was all going so smoothly to start. But looked at Drake, nothing.
No.
But
nothing.
There's one paint that might be new, but then I looked at the vultures, and there was there was things marked as new that I've had for a long time, so not sure. There was like a black Drake cutter paint that I don't recall ever existing. Okay. And it was in like the concierge level you can get it. And I was like, oh, let me look, because it was like named Night something. And like the Flight Blade ones are named Nightbreaker, but this one was like Night Dawn or something like that. So it was like two totally different things. I was like, oh, maybe they put the skin on, but not the blades. Nope. I checked.
Yeah.
No blades for the cut. Yeah. So yeah, just dumb.
With that probably means that's it for Invictus. There was a I don't remember if I mentioned in the podcast, but there was a comment by Xylo that said there would be no concept ships at Drake Day or Finale Day. The implication being, maybe there's a
coping
cheeky straight to flyable or something.
Yeah, the Ironclad was just randomly going to appear because it's a big box. There's so much cope about that.
So yeah, that's likely going to be it for Invictus, I imagine, which means next week, hopefully, we get closer towards a Wave 1 check
All
out
right,
this new eBay.
hold on. We have to apparently read the flare text for this.
Okay.
Ever been kicked out of a party you never went to? Well, boo freaking who. Invictus corporate overlords, let us wipe away our non-existent tears with our calloused hands earned from an actual hard day's work. You could keep your pomp and shove your circumstance. We'll be back next year, bigger and badder. Then we'll see who's laughing. Yuck it up, naval lemmings and stim snorting barons. While you still can, Drake fans know how to be patient. See you next year, workers.
Is this the response to Blades? This is the response to Blades, I think.
I don't know. Yeah, this actually sounds like what Xylo would write. This looks like a Xylo post. I'm surprised it doesn't have yellow text. And say we're listening and we hear your feedback. But yeah, that's actually really cool. That was fun.
That's very funny.
If they're not going to deliver any ships, at least make me laugh a little bit, and that was good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the podcast today, I guess. It was a pretty good one. If you are out there watching over on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe so you can get notified, and hit the bell so you can get notified every single time we get a podcast out here. We do it live here on YouTube and on Twitch on both SaltEMike and my channels, and you can watch it live there. And yeah, we appreciate you guys watching today. And
no ironclad.
Yep, no ironclad. Rip the ironclad.
Don't forget.
He almost forgot, guys, to answer the call.
I had my phone in my hand. I was ready.